dear travelers, and welcome to another episode of Tales of Teyvat, a Genshin Lore Podcast. Last week, we went to Leeway, where we discussed the sleepy, overworked, probably underpaid Ganyu. This week, however, we're taking the boat over to Inazuma, where we're going to discuss the Emblem of Severed Fate artifact set.
Are you looking for a hilly churl to explain lore to you? Well, you found her. Her name is Beefy, and if you would like to see visual bonuses that go along with this discussion, head on over to our website, talesofteyvat.com, where Tiv is hard at work curating an informative but also sarcastic page for this specific episode in addition to every episode that we do.
While you're on our site, check out our past episodes and seasons, artist spotlights from the community for every topic, and some other goodies.
Finally, feel free to email Albedo at talesofteyvatpod@gmail.com, where he curates our mail and makes sure that there are no death threats, no bomb threats, and no anthrax, while also making sure that your questions make it to our ears.
Anthrax?
Yes, Brandon, anthrax. They send it to us all the time.
Is like traveling with anthrax. Oh.
Isn't that just some chalk dust off of Albedo?
No. It's anthrax. I asked him.
Oh.
I believe Albedo. But when you don't mail us your anthrax, you can let us know what you think about this week's episode and what other topics you'd like to see in the future. Now, anthrax aside, Brandon did just bring up that we have a special guest here in Angel Share with us today. Woo-hoo. Everyone give it up for Beefy from the Shade Chamber.
Beefaroni.
Welcome.
Hello, good Illuminati and travelers alike. They keep letting me back in here and I keep coming. Even though I self-proclaimed hate Mondstadt, I sure do visit a lot to talk with these fine people and also drink their wine. It's Beefy, your osmanthus wine aunt, the churl who runs the world, and 1/5 of the Shade Chamber, a Genshin podcast, where we talked, I will say past tense because we're kind of on an indefinite, probably forever break about Genshin, its development history, and insight into it from the business of entertainment, games, and other fun things that you might not have known go into making your favorite money and time sinks.
It's an iconic podcast. It's also a visual podcast. So everyone needs to go to YouTube, type in the Shade Chamber, and enjoy.
We made sure that Charles ordered some extra wine this week and that D-Luke knew you were coming. So we're really glad you didn't have to barrel your way through a window or something this week.
Yeah, good, because I don't want to see D-Luke either.
Wow. Oh my God. Thank God he called out sick today. I think Kaya did something to him, speaking of anthrax. But that's neither here nor there. If you also, just so travelers know, Beefy and the Shade Chamber also are our co-collaborators on our Discord server, Shades of Teyvat. Do you get it? Shade Chamber. Tales of Teyvat. Shades of Teyvat.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. Do you get it?
Who's getting Sino now? Damn.
Do you
just
get it?
Sino explained our Discord server.
I mean, as we should. I love Sino. But if you're interested in joining that Discord server where you can talk with us and the Shade Chamber, including Beefy and the other trolls, and stay up to date on everything happening on both sides of our Teyvat journeys, you can go to bit.ly/Shades of Teyvat, all lowercase, no spaces, to check it out. You do have to be 18 plus to enter, and we do have Adventuring and Kave checking your IDs at the door. They do it at Twink Tank. They do it here. So make sure that your ID is 18 plus, because if it's not, they're going to boot you away and tell you to come back when you're 18.
Do not try to bribe them, especially Kave. You know he is strapped for cash, and that's very cruel. You should not have to deal with that. Just come back when you're older.
Aventurine would totally accept a bribe, but Kave would not.
He would not. He is a good, upstanding, beautiful boy.
Adventuring would accepts the bribe and then calls security on you within 5 minutes.
Yeah, he probably would. Hoya won't let anyone be too shady.
Which we hired new security at Twink Tank, just so everyone knows. Everyone, please welcome Kevin Castellana.
Oh, Kevin.
AKA Phanon.
Oh, Kevin.
Yes, my favorite character in all of the Honkai universes.
The world-ending Kevin.
The world-ending Kevin.
Fucking Kevin.
Kiana's ancestor.
Yes, I love that man so much.
Killer Kevin.
And he's our security now, and you really don't want to mess with him. Have you seen the Phanon stuff? It's wild.
You definitely do not want to mess with Kevin, aka Phanon.
AKA me, because if you mess with me, he's going to come for you. That being said, travelers, everything you need to know about Beefy and the Shade Chamber are in the description of this episode and on the Discord server. So please make sure to check them out. Like Beefy said, they are on a hiatus, possibly permanent right now. And that doesn't mean you can't support them and check out their stuff. They have lots of amazing content out there. So please check it out.
Yes, thank you. We pride ourselves a lot in kind of the evergreen quality of our work. I like to think it's very fun and interesting to listen to, like, no matter what stage you're at in Genshin and no matter how old it was. We go into like a lot of like the cultural stuff, the design decisions. And we're also extremely funny. The nicest thing anyone has ever said to us was when they said this podcast is like Genshin meets Trixie and Katya's which is like like I was so flattered. I just kind of transcended for a bit. So if that's the tone you're looking for, brought to you by 5 marketable hilly troll goblin kids, then come check us out.
It's very accurate. As someone who knows both, that is very accurate. Yeah.
Yes.
And as someone who wishes I could edit at the level of editor, like I was just so tickled to hear that.
You know who does that, right? Like who recently started doing it? The same person that does Jizz, the parody of Gem and the Holograms.
The Shade Chamber did a Gem episode. Yeah. Oh my god, it's Synergy. Ooh, Synergy's also from Gem. We should watch Gem in the server. I love Gem. Before we made the Shade Chamber, we were going to do a Gem podcast.
Oh my god, you should do it.
It's already oversaturated.
If you want to learn more about Gem, go to the server.
Watch the Shade Chambers Gem episode for sure.
It's great.
It's one of my best editing jobs. I'm so proud of it. And, and we stream and we chat and we do all kinds of like fun things in that server. So just come in, hang out with like-minded, chill Genshin fans and their various hobbies and hyperfixations, and it's a good time.
Also, Beefy, like you could get hired by World of Wonder.
I would love to.
And just start editing shows for them and get paid for it.
I've been applying to editing jobs, like cross your fingers. Hey, if anyone needs like a fun editor, it's me. I'm doing less podcast editing these days. So
More time. That being said, though, we're going to jump into Inazuma. And before we do, here at Tales of Teyvat, we just want to give travelers and trolls alike who are listening an idea of some episodes you might want to listen to either before or after this episode that will help everything make more sense to you as well. We're not going to deep dive on all of these topics, but these episodes deep dive into some of the things that we will briefly talk about today. Again, not homework you have to listen to beforehand, but if you're interested in listening before or after, based on what you hear, you can go back and listen to episode 12 on the Vision Hunt Decree, episode 17 on the Sacred Sakura, episode 19 on Scaramouche, episode 37 on the Twin Archons, it's A and Makoto, episode 44, Kazuha, episode 53, the story of Baby Rue, R.I.P., episode 73, all about Snake Boy Urabashi, and episode 94 about Kujo Sara that also featured Beefy from the Shade Chamber.
And in case you didn't write all of those down, they will be on the website and linked for you.
Yes. So those are definitely some prerequisites if you want. If you need a quick refresher on some of these things or you want some deeper dives on some of the content that we'll be covering today, because the Emblem of Severed Fate artifact set covers a shit ton of lore.
It's sort of like the gateway into a whole lot of lore.
It's like the glue that holds Inazuma together.
It's all the lore.
That being said, before we take too much of a dive into the actual artifact set itself, you can get the Emblem of Severed Fate artifact set at the Momiji Dyed Court, which is located in Yashiori Island, so that's your domain. Yashiori Island is one of the islands of Inazuma. You can find Urabashi's dead corpse there, go hang out in his jaw, do as you please. I also feel like the Kujo ancestor His body's probably over there too, which kind of gives me some weird vibes about the artifact set being on this island, but that's fine. The Momiji Dyed Court domain is probably one of the prettiest domains in all of Teyvat. It is gorgeous on the inside.
Yeah.
It's also very confusing when you first like play it, because it's like these squares are hot and these squares are cold. So there's a lot of interesting game mechanics to it. That being said, it was released in 2.0, so all of this lore has been at the tips of your fingers, guys, since 2.0. Now, does anyone use this artifact set on anyone?
Oh my god, I think I have farmed this domain more than any other. More than possibly every other domain combined.
Wow. I only have it on one. Who do you have it on?
I don't know if this is true because like my idea of what meta was crystallized around like Sumeru, but Emblem of Severed Fates was the go-to sub DPS artifact set. Any like off-field support kind of character benefited from it. Like this is actually the set, if you want to get a little meta, this is the set that propelled Xiangling to like busted mandatory status because it helped with her energy gain, because that was kind of like the one thing she struggled with until Inazuma, this set, and of course Raiden. And so like it's a set that's almost always good enough for your sub DPS and your support people. So I would just like, if I didn't feel like looking into anything else, I would just go back and do this one because I was so familiar with it, which is also hard because this is a really harsh domain if you main Electros, and Raiden was my first limited 5-star and my first really good character, so grinding for these artifacts between the Electro Lawachurl, who is my uncle. Hi, I'm sorry for killing him.
Your creepy uncle, yeah.
He's fine, he's just aggro, he takes a lot of like supplements and listens to podcasts he probably shouldn't. So between him and the Electro Abyss Mage with the Electro Shell that cannot be broken with Electro stuff, that sucked for a while. But I would take my little Yanfei, who was my main on-field damage dealer for the longest time, and we would just go in there and blow everybody up on those ice squares. And I am so sick of this place. But also, it's kind of home to me. I've spent so much fucking time here. Raiden's got this set. Xiangling's got the set. Yelan's got the set. Like,
oh, wow.
It's kind of like, it's the slightly more like nuanced version of the Noblesse Oblige, because it's that kind of like do a burst, you know, energy gain, but it's also, it helps with like the energy recharge and stuff like that too. And so it will haunt me for the rest of my life. And maybe being stuck in there farming it constantly was what got me completely sucked into the lore, because I'm like, well, if I have to grind these things every day for the rest of my life, I might as well read the flavor text on them.
Who else? Do you guys have this on anyone, Tiff and B?
I have it on Raiden. I may have it on a couple others that I don't necessarily play with or haven't built up, but if they're there, they're just kind of hanging around, and I move them around off of them and give them to Raiden when I think they might be helpful.
Oh, okay.
I've been trying to make Raiden better. Like, I think my Raiden's kind of awesome.
She's C6.
Yeah, she's C6.
What else do you need?
Now Beefy, she now has her weapon. So that I'm excited about.
That's my favorite weapon design in Genshin. I love Engulfing Lightning.
It's beautiful.
It's so beautiful.
But now I need to get good about artifacts. So I've been trying to just farm it even more again, and then very much trying to understand the reroll thing that I am not grasping entirely. But
don't get me started on the reroll thing. I hate it.
It has not been nice to you.
No, it literally gave me worse stats. And it was like, do you want to keep this? And I was like, no. You bitch. Like,
we truly can't have shit.
No, I was like, are you joking? I was so excited. It was like 14 Yari too. Like, I'm like hyper fixated on my build with him right now, and he's getting there. He's like down, and according to Akasha, he's like in the 20 percentiles of some sort.
Wow.
27.
He's sick. Fiends is big Tig.
Yeah, the only thing big I have. So
That's not what I heard.
Keep that at the twink take, Brandon. But I think I have this artifact set not on him. I have it on Sino, though, his boyfriend/husband.
It is good on side. It looks good too. It's his colors.
Yeah, that's the bad part about me is that a lot of times when I first get a character, I'm like, purple, purple, blue,
Yeah.
blue. And then in the words of our dear friend Vanessa, she said, Amanda, you read your artifacts and stuff with the same eyes you read lore with, and then you can get it. And I said, well,
That's not true. That's like the other half of your brain.
but same set of eyeballs, the same ojos, and therefore I started reading. So thank you again for making me read. It's rough out in these
Did
streets.
you hear that, everybody? The first Genshin player who can read.
Thank you.
Let's give it up.
Also touched grass today.
What?
Crazy concept. More than once.
What's happening?
I don't even know you anymore. Are you even a Genshin podcaster?
Well, listen, the grass of Mondstadt's just very enticing this time of year.
Oh, I see. It was Mondstadt, quote unquote, grass.
Yeah, Mondstadt grass. Anyway, that aside, this is a great artifact set in the set for battling and for lore. So, if everyone remembers, we always refer to the blanket friends.
Oh, I had them down as picnic pals. I misremembered.
I love picnic pals. That's actually more accurate because they refer to it as a picnic in the lore.
Yeah,
It's on a blanket.
they're all picnic blanket. It
Mhm.
either works. If you prefer a blanket friend, a picnic pal. Friends works too.
Dead friends.
Dead friends, although there's no animos that I know of over there.
Your lunch lads.
Lunch lads, breakfast, besties.
Like A was already Electro before all the friends died. So
Yeah, that's
Yes.
true. Venti was like, damn it. Could have stolen you too. Now, for travelers who might not remember, during one of A's videos on YouTube, one of the trailers for her, it shows her sitting on a blanket with some friends eating what looks like sushi.
Alleged sushi.
Yeah, it looks like sushi, but I've never seen sushi in Teyvat, so I don't know.
What?
Well, you only cook miso soup. You've never even seen like most of the food.
Whoa.
It's because you never go to Inazuma.
She doesn't go to Inazuma.
She doesn't like Inazuma.
What?
I don't want to die.
and she hates A.
I do hate A. I'm pretty sure I'm banned from the country. So
I'm gonna ban you from the server. How dare you?
Yeah.
At least you like child, so you do have some taste.
Thank you. I do. See?
Mm.
And Kevin. Anyway,
The fuck is Kevin?
literally every time.
Tuna sushi. There's literally you can cook tuna sushi. It's a basic 2-star dish.
Oh, that's probably why, though. I probably don't make the 2-star dishes as much as I do.
Well,
other things.
sorry that they're not good enough for you.
Oh, so bougie.
Miso soup or a 4-5-star. Sorry. Anyway, so on this blanket, you could see A with a bunch of her friends, AK3, because that's all the friends that she had other than her sister.
Damn.
And eventually her sister's on there as well. So you have A and Makoto on the blanket, of course. You have her dear friend Kitsune Saiguu. She is the white-haired girl with the cat ears. Then you also have her good friend Mikoshi Chiyo. Chiyo will be a huge point in this podcast, but she is an Oni, so look for the one with the horns on her head. And then you also have Sasayuri, who is a Tengu. We've talked a lot about him in our Urabashi episode, and you can see that he is wearing the same Tengu mask on his head that Sara wears. So those are your friends, and the Emblem of Severed Fate artifact set touches each of these characters in some way. But it mostly tells the story of Chiyo and what happens to her and her family and her lineage and her loins.
Oh,
Bruh.
Look, there's a lot that goes on, guys. But
There's
anyway.
a lot that goes on in her loins.
Technically not untrue.
Guys, did you not know that you came to biology class today? I'm actually Tinyari. No, that's Bob.
You guys should probably talk more about Sasayuri than like literally anybody who's ever heard of Sasayuri, including Hoyo.
It's true. We bring him up quite often. I mean, he was a big in the Kudrosara episode. Is that just another L for them?
I think so. Tengu do be taking L's. Like, it's insane how fleshed out now, like, all of A's friends are. except for pointedly except for Sasayuri. Like honestly, we don't even know his confirmed gender.
I was thinking that too. I was like, do we know?
No, we don't. And it's a very feminine name. Like one thing that's kind of fun about Genshin Tengu is they all kind of have not all of them, but a lot of them have kind of gender bent names. Like the female Tengu have really masculine names like Reizenbo and Yoichi, and then the one male Tengu we know named is Sasayuri, which is really girly.
Mm-hmm.
I love that. Let's just say non-binary confirmed.
Any pronouns welcome for Sasayuri.
Yeah.
As long as they're in past tense. Sasayuri's pronouns are was, were.
Just dead. DEAD.
DEAD.
Well, let's talk about Sasayuri first real quick. Let's just give a quick overview of Sasayuri. So Sasayuri is a Tengu, and he actually died because of Urabashi.
They were a general in A's military.
Meh.
When it comes to Guru, it's all about the generals. It's all about the military people. But Sasayuri, you're like, nah.
That's interesting because they are kind of the anti-Goro. So Tiff, you should really like Sasayuri.
Love them.
Because they were a general on A's side who fought in the Urabashi War, against Watatsumi. And at one point was the head of the Yougou Tengu, which we'll get into, which was later led by Reizenbo, but was possibly killed by a warrior from Watatsumi Island who was loyal to Moon or Maun or Moon.
Oh, was that the Wave King or whoever had that one sword with
it's like Moon's Moon. That weapon.
Yeah, I believe it's Ayami who is the one who is said to have killed Ayame, is the one who is said to have killed Sasayuri. And just a quick recap. I know Brandon just mentioned that this was a war against Watatsumi. This is not the war that just happened, travelers. There was a war once before.
This was a real war from back when their god was alive.
Yeah, so back in the day when Urabashi helped the people come out of Inkanomiya, he created Watatsumi Island out of his scales and the blood coral, and we kind of bathed in his blood. And they started to encroach onto Yashiori Island, the people of Urabashi.
Yeah, they were like, we can't grow crops here. Let's move on over to that other island.
And that's when the shogunate got involved.
No, go back.
Yeah, literally. Go back into your hole.
Go back into your snake hole and grow your carrots with salt water or whatever it is you do over there.
Go back to your clam.
Do you think Sasayuri being killed was the reason that A killed Urabashi?
Yeah, that's basically confirmed. Yeah.
That's why she did the big Musono Hitotachi, was in the wake of Sasayuri's death.
Wow, yeah.
She said, fuck all of you. Haya.
Fuck yo snake dad. Fuck the upper 25% of this island. I'm done. I've been a good host.
I just remember thinking why would she do that? It seemed very not just cruel, but kind of unnecessary. So to me, it makes sense now that I know that it's because Sasayuri died, because it was an emotional response.
Yeah.
She might not have killed their god otherwise. I always kind of headcanon that they had kind of a diplomatic relationship, the Watatsumi and Narukami, until that went down.
Yeah.
They kind of had an uneasy truce.
And I know that Urabashi didn't even want to go over to Yashiori, but his people were like, we need you to go over there.
He was the fall guy.
Yeah.
You don't have far to fall, I guess, when you crawl on the ground.
I will say, though, I don't think that Urabashi and A had as much of a diplomatic relationship as you think, because he did run away during the Archon War because A and Zhongli were trying to kill him. So A was probably like, this snake is back.
They tolerated each other for a while, and he even he was the one that was basically, you guys need to assimilate and turn yourself from Greek people into Japanese people so that we can get along with our neighbor who will just swat us off the earth if we get on her bad side. Diplomatic certainly doesn't mean like friendly or equitable. It was probably pretty tense, but like
I feel like she was very excited to finally be able to kill him. Outside of the fact that her friend died, she was like, thank God.
Now I have an excuse to do it.
Well, you're a little biased.
What? Biased?
Against A, yeah.
I mean, who says I like Sasayuri? He went against Urabashi, my man.
we don't even know anything about him. What's not to like or dislike?
Well, he's a Tengu, so it's automatic L.
It's true.
Oh.
It truly is no W in Tengu.
Now, you also have, of course, the friendship of Kitsune Saiguu. And I don't know, there's something about Kitsune Saiguu that I really appreciate. She was also known as the Kitsune Goddess, which is so fucking cocky. And of course, she mentored Yaimiko, and that's why Yaimiko's got her air about her as well. But Kitsune Saiguu was a kitsune, just like Yaimiko.
She was Miko's drag mother.
Literally.
Yes. She definitely was like a trickster, just like Yaimiko.
A trickster, but the second you fucked with something important, you were cut. Like, she didn't fuck around. One of my favorite people she was a mentor to is Asase Hibiki, who we actually talked about a little bit back when we talked about Rue and Tsurumi Island. She's actually originally from Sarai Island, where we know our Electro Bird Kana lives. She studied under Kitsune Saiguu and had her as a mentor, and then after her love cheated on her and got married and then said she'd come back and then she killed the love, whole drama after the cataclysm, she went back to home and was like, I'm gonna run a shrine with a cat named Neko. And they lived pretty great up until the fact that there was a big rebellion with the shogunate, and she ended up releasing Kana's spirit to attack the shogunate ships, probably killed her in the process because she was a human. And those storm clouds pushed her other shrine runner, Ako Tameki, who was a ship captain, off to the Golden Apple Archipelago, where they left behind a Magu Kenki, which is, more drama.
What the fuck? I forgot about that.
And then Neko the cat somehow in this process becomes immortal, manages a shrine, and is so sad and confused on why his human friend hasn't come back. It's really sad. And I feel like everyone that Saiguu touched had a sad life.
Everyone in Inazuma had a sad life. Why do people live there, aside from it being awesome looking?
I have no idea. Now, back to Saiguu, of course. Saiguu was a big player during the Cataclysm. She was the only one who stayed behind and did not go either to fight abyssal monsters or go to Conria. She stayed back to protect Inazuma. And she apparently did some really cool things. She snuck people into underground ruins. She protected the sacred Sakura tree and all the roots and everything. But then she went missing and she basically disappeared. And the assumption has been that some sort of quote unquote dark will consumed her.
Well, she ends up in the abyss, according to the Hakushin ring weapon lore.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
And the Sacred Sakura quest.
Yeah.
The first good world quest in Genshin.
She's in the abyss, presumably dead by now, but yeah, she ended up in the abyss.
Oh, that's where she disappears to, basically.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Imagine she comes out.
I thought she was kind of embedded in the Sacred Sakura and helps repel the abyss from where it taps into the ley lines.
I hope we get an abyss mimic version of her that we have to fight. That would be so cool.
I hope we get that for every dead backstory person.
Yeah.
Because, she disappears apparently to the abyss. Now, it is a dark will that apparently consumes her. So if she went to the abyss, that would fucking make sense. And she later does become Hana Chirusato, who is the kitsune wearing mask shrine maiden that helps us through the Sacred Sakura world quest.
The real ones remember when she was called Kazari.
Yes.
Her memories condense into this filth, quote unquote filth, that we come to know as Hana Chirusato. And that's, for anyone who's confused, that's the masked shrine maiden at the center of that very long world quest series in Inazuma.
God, that quest was good.
We have an episode about that if you want to learn more about that. And I have to say, I remember being so confused at the time of who Saiguu was. I had no idea. I really didn't understand how she came into all this and why this masked lady was talking about her. Yeah.
Can we talk about why her memories created a mask?
Yeah, go for it.
It's because she's totally in love with Chiyo.
Oh, okay.
That's true.
She found Chiyo extremely beautiful. She said that she had a face, quote, as beautiful as the moon, unquote, and, quote, at the thought of her unrivaled beauty, I cannot help wanting to hide my current appearance with a mask, unquote. And then also said, like, I hope her beauty, bravery, and bearing shall be praised by people for thousands of years to come.
Womp womp.
And she and Chiyo would perform and play divine music for the throne. And she admired Chiyo's sword dance, which I guess she would do for the Shogun.
Yes. Imagine being like the ruler of a nation and making your friends dance for you.
I know. So weird.
Crazy shit. But also, I think like Chiyo is someone who is very like proud of her own beauty and skill.
Yeah. But also that's probably how they became friends, right?
And they were bandmates.
And
no,
they were
like that's how they
roommates.
became friends with Makoto and A. Is like they would dance and perform for them.
You think that's where like they met?
I don't know. I'm assuming.
It sounds like meeting at band camp.
They are like high school buddy vibes. Like Ace Picnic Pals are all like people that she had known for probably like centuries up till the point where like they started to die off. Like I always headcanon that like at least some of them were kind of around like as she and Makoto were kind of getting their bearings as rulers and maybe like helped the twins kind of like grow.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Saiguu also, like as we mentioned before, was a trickster and would be very playful with Yoroi, and she would play hide and seek with him. He later like starts acting up because, you know, after she ends up in the abyss, she never comes back. And so he's like, where is my hide and seek pal? So he starts acting up and being like a menace. And then that leads to him getting imprisoned in stone by Harunosuke, which we'll talk about later.
You can find him over in the forest still, under the shrine. It's actually fun. He comes up a lot in the story. He's in the Archon line. He's in like, I think 2 of the event stories in Inazuma. Like they don't forget about this man in the forest stuck in a statue.
This dude's been around for a long time, and he's a fun guy.
Yeah.
She also smoked a tobacco pipe.
She did. She had a big Ningguang pipe, and she would bonk people with it.
Yeah. Such a lesbian.
She would bonk people with it.
Like canonically.
Yeah, she did. She would bonk Hibiki with it.
That is just so funny to me. There's also a story of there was another Kitsune who came to live with them, and that Kitsune she ended up having to banish because he did something that it kind of implies that whatever that Kitsune did possibly made the cataclysm worse in Inazuma than it should have been.
My God.
And so after banishing him, she ends up running to go warn A and Makoto about what's about to happen with the cataclysm. So she's very in the know, all while dealing with a baby Yaimiko who came to the shrine right before the cataclysm too.
That's a lot to deal with.
Yeah, it's a lot. No wonder she left.
But she also was like left in charge of Inazuma when everyone else left. They were like, blanket friends, we're leaving. You stay behind. So I feel bad for her. You're right. I don't blame her for going into the abyss and finding solace there.
Well, I don't know if she went there by choice.
She was handheld.
I think that her and Gold are partying.
Oh no.
I think they're down there having a party together.
I really hope so.
And yeah, little Kiki.
That'd be so cute.
Come on, guys. They're having a good old time down there.
She just comes out of the abyss. She's like, after a much needed rest, I'm here to help.
I look pretty good for a dead bitch.
And then A turns around and in Hibiki style stabs Saiguu.
Yeah, Miko's like, fucking bitch looks better than me.
Because the whole thing with Hibiki, who was the first person I was talking about, who was a mentee to Saiguu, is like, she sees Chiyo get warped by the abyss, and we'll talk about Chiyo in a second. So when her lover reemerges from the abyss, she just kills him because she doesn't want to risk
That's
him also
awesome.
going crazy.
I think it was because they had like this unheard pact.
Yeah, he's like, if I get whacked out, like, you're not going to let me suffer. And she's like, sure.
Yeah.
He also gave Asase the Thundering Pulse. So I have made an obscene Pepe Sylvia style like bulletin board of character connections for this episode, and every like in-game artifact or weapon is like bolded, and Hibiki, for someone who I don't think about a lot, has so many of these things. Important. Like, so she is the last known owner of the Thundering Pulse, which is the bow that you have on your Yoimiya. I know you do. It's meta as hell.
With the bow I know you have.
Yeah, the Inazuma limited weapon set, which is still like the coolest ever. So the Thundering Pulse is a bow that was originally made for Reizenbo, and she would go on to mentor the Yougou Three. However, she did not actually teach Asase Hibiki Tengu bowmanship. Reizenbo actually taught Takamine the Mist Splitter Tengu bowmanship and gave him the Thundering Pulse. So he was the second owner of that bow, which, by the way, was made by Raiden herself as a gift for Reizenbo.
Yeah.
Even though Reizenbo didn't really mentor Takamine, like, I think officially, maybe not. Takamine is far enough removed from the Emblem of Severed Fates where I didn't do that much research on him for the episode. I just kind of went, fuck it, there's too many people involved. But anyway, he gives Hibiki the Thundering Pulse to defend herself. He kind of frames it because he's like a notorious gambler and kind of like a klutz. And so she's like, oh, what, do you need your bowstring fixed again? He's like, no, I'm giving it to you because I am a swordsman and I'm not going to need this bow in battle. And you're going to need something in case you get in trouble.
I guess let's talk about Takamine, the Mist Splitter.
We haven't even started talking about the Emblem of Severed Fates lore.
Yeah.
So Takamine, he was the Shogun's Hatamoto, which is like her personal guard. And Hibiki referred to him as an old gambling idiot. So he was kind of like a doofus.
She loved him. He was a himbo.
Totally had a crush on him. She would like blush while insulting him, even though he was married.
It's very Rumiko Takahashi, except for the married part. That's spicy. I think that happened later, though. That happened later.
He got married. Yeah, and I think that might have fucked with her a little bit.
No, he was married before he and Hibiki became a thing.
Oh,
she was like, you're already married.
Unrequited love comes up like 3 times in the web of embodiment people.
Yeah.
I always want to call it Embodiment of Scarlet Devil because that's the Toho game and it's one letter off in the acronym. So as I'm typing it out, I'm like, EOSD. Oh shit, no, EOSF.
So Takamine, the Mist Splitter, and Asase Hibiki, they were in love. They would escape to the seaside together, aka affair. And Takamine, he obviously owned the original Mist Splitter sword, which got broken, but then was later reforged with like just a few of its pieces. And that's obviously what became Mist Splitter Reforged. Yes.
For you cultured people, that's sort of a Narsil becoming Anduril situation, you know, your usual stuff.
Is that a Lord of the Rings reference? I love it.
I love Lord of the Rings.
So he also learned his archery from Reizenbo.
Now, who is Reizenbo? You guys have mentioned that character a lot, but we haven't talked about them.
Reizenbo is like the grand Tengu that protects Mount Yogo that the Narukami Shrine is built on.
Yeah, it's like the holiest mountain in Inazuma.
Yeah.
Not because it's full of holes, but because it's full of spiritual energy.
And now Reizenbo took over this mantle after Sasayuri died.
Okay.
So Reizenbo taught archery to Takamine, who then in turn taught it to Asase Hibiki.
Which again is weird because Reizenbo did mentor Asase Hibiki directly in terms of teaching her like kind of Tengu mysticism, which we'll get into later when we actually talk about the Severed Fates lore. But she still didn't teach her bowmanship. Maybe she like was just like, you know, oh, you're a priestess, not a fighter. Like, I'll save her for somebody else.
Yeah, she was like, this is like for my gambling pals only.
Oh, it's cute too, because I forgot in the storm cage, Takamine also knows Reizenbo's kid, Teruyo, who we will also get into later. He's like talking to Hibiki and he's like, you should see Teruyo. She's grown up now. She's like a young lady, Tengu.
Yeah. So Takamine, he was, as Beefy said, the owner of Thundering Pulse, which was a bow created by the Shogun and gifted to Reizenbo. And he made this bet with Reizenbo when he first met her and was like, I bet you my own servitude for that bow. But they ended up tying in whatever challenge they had, which meant that he got the bow, but he also had to be Reizenbo's servant. And so he learned his archery from Reizenbo because of being her servant. Meanwhile, he later falls in love with Asase Hibiki. He leaves Thundering Pulse with her when he goes to fight in the Abyss during the Cataclysm.
That's really cute because, again, like Reizenbo, as we will get into later, mentored the Yougou Three, which includes Hibiki. And so I like to imagine that he was like carrying like her spare bows and quivers and shit, like as she's giving a lesson to the Yougou Three. And then like Hibiki falls in love with her master's like caddy boy, basically.
Yeah.
She's like, who's he? He's cute. He's lugging all your stuff around. She's like, yeah, that's my little dude. I won him in a bet.
That's my little dude. I want him in a bet.
And he's like, I won this bow in a bet, bitch.
And just one more quick pause. You guys have mentioned the Yougou Three a few times. What is the Yougou Three? Because all I could think of is like a Yogi Bow pillow.
All right, so Yogo refers to Mount Yogo, which is, again, the holy mountain where the Yogo Tengu live. The phrase Yogo Tengu means Tengu who live on Mount Yogo, and I don't know if there are other... I don't know if there's other groups of Tengu out there.
It's very creative.
Translator's note. So for some reason, Reizenbo, the great Tengu, decided to personally mentor 3 humans in the Tengu arts. And if you go back to our Kujo Sara episode, in which I am also a guest correspondent, we talk a little bit about the history of Tengu, and while they are kind of disruptive, arrogant goblins, they are also kind of these mountain hermits and can become mentors to humans who are looking to train in their arts. And so this is Reizenbo in her faculties as a Tengu sage mentor to these 3 young humans.
Yeah.
Asase Hibiki is the one of these humans, the only one who she outlives the others into another like era of stuff happening in Inazuma. But for the most part, these 3 people, Asase Hibiki, who we all talked about, Kamina Harunosuke, who is an onmyoji. Is he the only one specified to be an onmyoji?
Yes.
Yes.
All right. So an onmyoji is it's an exorcist that kind of in real life onmyoji kind of draw upon like Taoist disciplines, and even though they're a Japanese thing, they're kind of trained in the Chinese mystical arts.
I wrote in my notes, I wrote basically a witch.
Yeah. So onmyoji are like exorcists. They like go in and they cleanse places that are polluted by evil spirits and bad vibes and shit. And so because it's a Chinese art, like Harunosuke goes to Liyue, which is where he kind of perfects it. And we know him because he made Shiki Taisho, the mascot of like one of the best events they ever did in Genshin, the Labyrinth Warriors.
Yes, which we have an episode on that as well. If people want more information on that event, it's episode 77.
Yeah.
Love that event.
The little mascot that Beefy's talking about is our Flat Stanley samurai.
If you remember in Spirited Away how Yubaba uses those like paper effigy human talismans, he's that same thing. And that's something that onmyoji use in their exorcisms. And the third of the Yougou Three was Mikoshi Nagamasa. And we are getting ever closer to the central figure that this whole episode and the lore is actually about, which is, I guess it's the 3 main people who this episode and lore is actually about. And I don't know if we want to get into them yet because we're still talking about all these ancillary people, but he is one of the Yougou Three.
He's and we'll just say the adopted son of Chiyo, and we'll get into that.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry, you guys were talking about Takamine and Teruyo, so we can go back to that. I just wanted to understand who the Yougou Three were before we went any further.
Yeah, so Takamine, he made that bet with Reizenbo, traded his own servitude for Thundering Pulse. Then he leaves Thundering Pulse with Asase Hibiki when he left to go fight the Abyss during the Cataclysm. Now, he ended up returning much later, but he was corrupted by the Abyss. And so that's, like we discussed before, why Hibiki kills him using the bow that he gave her.
Tragic.
It's so sad.
It's like the zombie movie thing.
Yeah. Now, Asase Hibiki, one of the Yougou Three, she grew up on Seirai Island, but she moved to Narukami when she was young, and she began like shrine maiden tutelage under Saiguu.
Yeah, Saiguu is not just her mentor, but also her official boss, because like her role was as the Guji of the Narukami shrine. And she's like, yeah, she's the Pope. She's the representative of the faith.
The Yaimiko before Yaimiko.
Exactly. Yeah. So like she did personally mentor Asase Hibiki, but she also formally would have trained her as a shrine maiden and like brought her up in the ranks and stuff. So Asase gets to have two cool yokai women mentoring her.
Yeah.
Yeah,
which
sure.
might be why she lives so long and does so many cool things.
So after her romance with Takamine, who disappears into the Abyss and then later comes back and she kills him. But between that, she returns to Seirai Island and she runs the Asase Shrine, which it became known as. During that time, she becomes very close with Neko the cat and Ako Domeki, which is this pirate captain.
And she's old at this point.
Yeah.
She's very old. He calls her Granny.
Actually, this is after she kills Takamine.
All this stuff that happens in Inazuma is like 500 years ago and then 400 years ago. And Hibiki is one of the few characters who kind of who stretches across both of those timelines. So by the time she's an old woman, she has kind of taken on this like punk pirate guy, Domeki, as a parental figure to him. And at this point, there's a rebellion against the shogunate. Like, the threat is no longer the Abyss, but Inazuma is in the midst of one of many of its beloved civil wars, and he is firmly not on the side of the shogunate.
I love you that you say the word punk, because that's very Domeki. Like, I feel like we could do a whole episode on him.
His lore for his weapon, because his weapon is the blacksmithing spear you get in Inazuma. I forget what it is, but it's...
Oh, I think he's the catch. He's the original owner of the catch.
Oh, that was it. The lore for that is heartbreaking because he reminds me so much of like Kamina from Gurren Lagann. Like, he's so good-natured and hot-blooded and like positive and kind of stupid, but like he's kind of like, I'm carrying hope for everyone in this situation that doesn't have it. And it's like, it's his dying moments. That's the lore of the catch, is like him, and he's being like, hey, my friends, hey, Granny, can you see me now? Like, as long as you're thinking of me, like, I'm not going to be scared. That kind of thing.
This is this guy that you were talking about earlier, though, right? Fiend's the one that goes to the archipelago?
Yes.
Yes.
Who takes one of the Maku Kenkis, because there's multiples, apparently.
Oh, that's
which
wonderful.
complicates some shit that we will talk about later.
Yeah. So I think that's really all of our tertiary characters here that are involved, right?
There's one last thing. So at what point does Takamine give Hibiki the Storm Cage, which is the first artifact in the embodiment of Severed Fates set that we will actually talk about in this episode? Because he gives the Storm Cage to her, and the last action of her life is she sets free the Thunder manifestation from that cage to aid Ako Domeki in his assault against the Shogunate fleet, because he doesn't have a chance. He doesn't have a chance against the Shogunate's navy. And this is a sly little wink to Japanese history, because as some of you fucking weebs may know, the word kamikaze, which means divine wind, refers to what the Japanese people saw as basically, it was a miraculous storm that thwarted invading Mongol fleets like twice. And so they were seen as like, the storm is on the side of Japan and saving us from these invading like barbarian fleets. This time we're rooting against, the pseudo-Japanese government for the rebels and the storm unleashed to aid them. Although, it's not like the Thunder Manifestation has any alliances. It was just there to wreak complete havoc on everything.
I hate everyone.
Yeah.
I hate all y'all. You killed me. Your stupid god killed me.
It's literally like, where's Rue? I know I kept that spirit around here somewhere.
Sing me a song.
Yeah, sing to me, Pablo.
Yeah, Pablo.
And then she ended up sailing, I guess, into the storm and never returned. So she's presumed dead.
But when did she have the storm cage?
I think it was during her first meeting with Takamine, no?
Hey girl, I got a crush on you. Here's this cage holding a super angry god ghost.
Have at it.
How did he get it?
I mean, he was the Shogun's Hatamoto. He was her personal guard, so he had access.
She's like, here's a cage holding this really angry god ghost that I killed. Don't drop it and don't give it to your crush.
Yeah.
And he's like, you just, just a dumb idiot in love who's just like, what's the coolest thing I can give Hibiki to impress her? I know, the god ghost in the storm cage.
Thanks for fixing my bow.
And then because A is negligence incarnate, she's just like, okay, sure. I'm not going to follow up on that.
Yeah.
Okay. So that covers all of that. Every single person that we have talked about thus far covers the storm cage.
Yes.
Covers I think it's the vessel, right? No, it's not. It's explicitly not.
It's the sands.
Do we want to deep dive into Haranosuke before we actually get to the...
Well, you covered him in the Labyrinth Warriors, right? I'm hoping we don't need to.
Yeah, I don't think so.
You can listen to Labyrinth Warriors if you want to know more about the witch, as Brandon called them.
The witch.
I like that. The witch episode's over there.
The witch who created Chiki Taisho.
The witch who created my best friend and child's best friend.
I think it's worth noting that after Saiguu disappeared / died, he did go to Liyue, like Beefy said, which I think this quote is informative. He said, the more powerful way of the Adepti, which I'm like, ooh, shade.
It's a Chinese game, so China's got to be the coolest.
Exactly. I was like,
they do that a lot.
The Adepti are better than us, than the yokai.
Yeah.
I remember that, it was implied that either parasols or fireworks in, the land of Teyvat, which were both invented in China in real life, one of those ones was implied to be invented in Inazuma, and they had to change it because fans got mad. It's they take liberties, man. Hot springs weren't native to Inazuma; they came from Natlan. But the Aztecs did not teach the Japanese how to make hot springs. There's a little flexibility there. Come on, guys.
But total side note on the Natlan hot springs. Did you guys know that Mizuki is building a hot spring over in the People of the Springs, and that she left her little floating buddy behind? And she's selling wares. Oh my god, Tiff was playing the other night and she went, "What the fuck is this?" And I was like, that looks like Mizuki stuff.
That's awesome.
The best was we went and checked the chairs and went back to the hots, from People of the Springs over to Inazuma, going back and forth. And then I was like, oh, look, there's a bulletin board right out front that tells you everything that we just figured out.
Yeah, we were being detectives without reading. Again, guys, read with your eyes.
And then Genshin's now we're going to spell it out for you again. It's going to double the amount of time you spent thinking about this.
Yeah, Genshin was you went and looked to see if the stools were the same in these different nations. Great job. It was on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
Fuck you for trying to do context clues.
Literally. I was like, great. F you. Got it.
So Haranosuke, he goes to Liyue to learn his new way, his more powerful way of the Adepti.
My way or the Liyue?
Yeah. He later returns to Inazuma, but then starts working for the Shogunate, which I'm like, oh, I guess that Adepti learning didn't do enough.
I still have to get a government job, even though I'm a wizard with Chinese exorcist powers.
But he did end up imprisoning Ioroi in stone.
For being a little punk ass.
Oh, our little Tanuki guy.
Ioroi started troublemaking to try to lure Saiguu out of hiding, thinking that they were still playing hide and seek, even though she was by that point in the abyss / dead.
Right.
I wonder how much of that was also emotional, because She did also personally tutor Harunosuke.
Yeah.
Here's the thing. The Yougou Three are officially mentored by Reizenbo, but like at least 1.5, if not 2 of them were also mentored by Saiguu.
Right.
On my notes that I have been looking at, but didn't read, it says that Reizenbo was Kitsune Saigu's personal guard.
That makes sense.
I think they were together a lot because there's also that one underwater domain that was like one of the Tengu's palaces. And they're like, well, it smells like fox in here. I guess Saiguu was here too. So they hung out and they were bodyguard. And
were they together a lot or were they together?
I think they were together and together.
Reizenbo was Saigu's bodyguard.
She was her Sara. She had it unrequited.
Yeah.
That's so on brand for the Tengus. Let's give them a big L.
Always be yearning. And then like yearning. And then Saigu's like, this Oni is so pretty, I could take my face off. And Reizenbo's like, shit.
Yeah, it was sad too because when Saiguu died or disappeared, Reizenbo as her bodyguard was so ashamed
because she failed.
Yeah, so she self-exiled,
leaving Teruyo behind, her kid.
If I can't be in love, I don't even want my child.
Yeah, and Teruyo's like, Mom, what? You have a job, you're literally the chief of the Tengu. I don't know.
And it was kind of like this splitting of ways because she self-exiles, Asase Hibiki goes back to Seirai Island where she's from. Harunosuke at that point goes to Liyue. He's like, I'm done with this place.
And Nagamasa goes home.
Yeah. And we'll get to Nagamasa in just a second.
And I just want to say too, really quick on the Reizenbo stuff, is that you mentioned that like the one domain underground that might have been like a Tengu palace. I think that's interesting because if Reizenbo and Saiguu were hanging out a lot, it's said that Saiguu took them underground, like took the people of Inazuma underground during the cataclysm to try and protect them. So I wonder if she knew where to go because of her relationship with Reizenbo, whether it be a relationship or a friendship.
But all of this lore specifically of like where people were during the cataclysm can be found scattered throughout Inazuma from the Earth Kitsune statues that you have to read with the memento lens. And I think that's in that underwater cave area, you can find a Kitsune statue that replays a conversation between the Yougou Three, where it's kind of like it's their first time stumbling across this palace. And they're like, wow, Master Tengu had a place like this, huh? That we just didn't know about. Oh, gross. It smells like fox. So Saiguu must have been here too. Mm-hmm. So they definitely like found it on their own. And I think there is another Kitsune statue saying like somewhere else in Inazuma, it's like, you know, oh, we were told to stay here and we'd be safe. The Guji. So like that might have been like some villagers that she talked to. I don't know. There's a lot. There's so much, you guys.
So because there is so much, I think it's time that we change our focus over to the family life of Mikoshi Chiyo, which is not a true family life at all. But before we jump too much into that, just a quick recap on Mikoshi. So Mikoshi Chiyo, we're going to call her Chiyo. It's just, that's easier. Chiyo. Chiyo is an Oni. So you guys might remember our Oni friends of Ito and Takuya, Takuya is the representative of the quote-unquote blue Oni. So during Ito's story quest, we learned the story of the red and blue Oni who were friends, and then they weren't because the one was shy, and, you know, the blue Oni have mostly disappeared, and Ito is a descendant of the red Oni. In the Oni lifestyle, they really value principles. They have a ton of pride. And ever since the cataclysm, their bloodlines are very diluted. And that's why Ito looks so much more human even than Chiyo, as you see her in some of the graphics we get of her. Chiyo has 2 like giant horns on her head, where Ito's are like little babies. So there are a lot of differences. It's almost like breeding out almost.
Yeah. Ito also says like, oh yeah, like red Oni just refers to Oni who paint their horns red, and he has like body painter tattoos. Whereas like if you look at Chiyo's body, like all of her exposed skin except for her face is like crimson, which is very typical of like an Oni like in Japanese myth, where they have like red skin or blue skin or like powder white skin. And like, so it's actually my headcanon that like her whole body is like that, and she just like paints her face. Because the thing about Chiyo is she is like a consummate noblewoman of like Heian era Japan. Like she is supposed to be the perfect image of like what a courtly beauty would have been in ancient Japan.
Imagine the Chiyo makeup tutorial.
I would love that. Yeah.
This is how you paint your face.
Like I want a like fight with the corrupted Chiyo where like half her like face paint is like sloughed off, you know? I think it's just such a fun juxtaposition. She is absolutely the girliest of A's picnic pals, but she is also a lieutenant and a very proud swordswoman. And like fights kind of like she has a chip on her shoulder, which is something that her son notes. Because Chiyo has kids,
Yes.
one biological, one adopted. So as Fiend said, Michihiro, her biological son, who is the narrator of a couple embodiment artifacts, says that mother's long-standing wish, blah, 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 she would make contributions to make an eternal name for the ever-thinning blood of the war Oni. And we have seen yokai kind of decrease in population like throughout the years, even before the cataclysm. And so with the Oni, like they might even be going so far to preserve themselves as marrying humans and having mixed race kids. I think they're kind of the only explicit yokai to have said that like them interbreeding with humans is like a common thing.
Now, do you think that this is part of why Harunosuke sees the Adepti and Liyue as more powerful, because they're still watching over the humans?
Because yokai have never really been venerated by people, with the exception of like the Hakushin Kitsune. They have been, it's kind of like they were almost something that needed to be like brought to heel by human civilization. And they kind of found that there was like less and less of a place for them. Whereas in Liyue, like civilization was built around venerating the Adepti.
Yeah.
And they were kind of like, I mean, they're dying out too, but that seems to be a more recent thing than like the situation with the yokai in Inazuma.
Right.
And I think even the way things are in current Liyue and current Inazuma, like in Liyue, there might not be as many Adepti, but they are revered, right?
Yeah.
You have Kachin going up to give them gifts every lantern rite. The idea of running into an Adepti is like, they're going to make my dreams and my wishes come true. Meanwhile, you have them living amongst you as the yokai in Inazuma. You have Sarah, who was like a little bird that kind of picked up off the ground and yeeted her into an army.
Yeah.
You have Ito, who's literally like brushing his hair, causing drama, and getting into fights with kids.
Yeah, he like has to live like a bum. Like Oni are very persecuted in Inazuma.
And as much as I love Kirara, who luckily took a step outside just now, I mean, she's delivering mail.
She's delivering mail.
Like, and I have nothing against the postal service. I love
essential workers.
Yes. But like, you're not a yokai, you know? Like for a yokai, they're doing day-to-day things. They're blue collared. They're criminals. They're in the army. Like, they're not like the Adepti who could get away with anything.
Who are like demigods. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they could like, the Cloud Retainer could fly in and like shit on your roof, and you'd be like,
she could shit on my head.
Thank you. I'm blessed.
Well, I can't do anything about this.
You know, when you go to the beach and they're like, oh, a pigeon shit on you, like that's good luck. If Cloud Retainer shits on you, you better never get washed.
Yeah, and she's like, one supposes you should be thankful, and just like flies off like, fuck you.
And then you just have Ganyu standing in the corner like, Mom, why?
Yeah, so Ganyu, like there's half Adepti running around, but they don't talk about like, I don't think they talk about like humans with Adepti blood the way they talk about like people with Oni blood. Like when you first get to Inazuma, you talk to the ramen vendor who doesn't actually sell ramen. He's just a fucking NPC who talks to you.
It's kind of fucked.
Yeah, and he asks you, oh, by the way, before you try our Kitsune ramen, I have to ask, do you have Oni blood? Because that could mean you have a latent soybean allergy. And we don't serve Kitsune ramen to people who have Oni blood, which implies that like there are human passing people with enough Oni blood to cause bean allergies. but
so
otherwise like don't have
interesting.
horns, you know?
Yeah.
But it also means that they've literally built in Toma almost poisoning Ito during the Iridori festival from day one.
Yeah.
They're like,
Literally.
we will try to kill an Oni later.
And I wonder if it's because he's a Mondstatter and he's like not as familiar with like just like the day-to-day of like having yokai in your populace, because like the ramen guy just asks you this as like, you know, it's like as casual as somebody saying like, no, we don't take American Express, you know?
Yeah.
It's like pretty normal.
It's like, you got Discover?
He knows the inside of Ayato's asshole, but he doesn't know the actual cultural lore about Oni.
Exactly. Well, there's no Oni in Ayato's asshole, but I guess that changes depending on who you ship. So
Stop! That was so good. That was, you took me out, Beefy. Oh my god. That was so good. But Chiyo.
So it could be that like even in Chiyo's time, the Oni are having trouble making more Oni.
Yeah, their bloodline is running thin.
Yeah, it's implied that the father of her children was a human.
And that's interesting too, because in the story of the red and blue Oni, we see with Ito during his story quest, we also learn that they were very much prosecuted and not liked by the humans. And the whole story is about the red Oni wanting to make friends and things like that. So it's definitely something that all Oni know and understand as well.
Yeah. And as a woman of the court, Chiyo would have been certainly more pressured to kind of stay on publicly on the good side of humanity.
Right.
So she slept with them.
Yeah.
She might not have had a choice as far as like, because she's like, I need to perpetuate my family. Maybe that just wasn't happening with other Oni.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even to the point of like, maybe that's why Nagamasa was adopted.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you think that, you know, Michihiro is her biological son? She has another son that's adopted who is regular human, which is Nagamasa. So is that sort of like a symbol of the thinning of the Oni bloodline?
It could be. There's so many ways you can read it, because political adoption was super common in Japanese noble families. If you think about like Game of Thrones, you know how, well, I guess that was more of a ransom thing, how the Starks adopted Theon Greyjoy. But it was common for lesser noble families to try to get a better life for their sons by having them adopted by higher noble families. And so it's like, was it a political favor? Was he a spare heir? Did Chiyo like maybe struggle to have another child? You know, like there's a lot of reasons that it could have been.
Or did the human royal who probably fathered her biological son be like, ew, I don't want to have another Oni kid? She took
Are you kidding? She and her biological son are so pretty. I don't think that would be his issue.
I also think Nagamasa's pretty, though.
Her biological son has horns. So I know what you're saying, Feeny. Like, so, like the father could have been like, why does my kid have horns?
Yes, right. Because like we might think that they're all beautiful, right?
Oh, that sucks. See, this is why I really like Chiyo, is because like when you kind of ask questions about her life and her circumstances, it's like there's a lot of like interesting things you can explore between her and her two sons of like what they had to deal with, just like the way the court worked.
I mean, we know that based off of Ito's story quest, we know that humans were very discriminatory towards Oni. I don't know how long later that is. I'm assuming that's quite a bit later, but
well, I kind of wonder how much of it was because of what Chiyo ends up doing.
Oh.
It makes it worse. Yeah.
I assume people were wary of Oni to begin with, but like she is like, to go back to Game of Thrones again, like she is like what Sansa is in the family. Like she is the perfect lady. She is the face of her clan. She would be very prominent in court life because she is pimped out for the gods. She literally wears a Juni Hitoi kimono. And you know, she was in the Shogun's personal like entourage. So people had to put up with her being there, certainly. We don't know to what degree humanity resented that.
Yeah.
But that's why I want more Chiyo fan fiction, so that people can explore that.
So just a quick recap for travelers so far. Chiyo is an Oni. And prior to the cataclysm, Chiyo has a biological son with an unknown human, most likely counterpart. And then she also has an adopted son. Again, not really sure where he came from either. But they were raised together. They generally seem to get along. They don't really seem to have many issues between the two of them. And Chiyo is a beautiful Oni,
Is A's lieutenant.
A's lieutenant, and seems to be dealing with a lot of personal strife, but also political strife within the nation. So Chiyo does end up going with A during the cataclysm to fight abyssal monsters that have appeared.
Yeah, I'm assuming this is like after A finds out Makoto went without her.
I think this is before.
Yeah, because wasn't that one of her reasons why she was left there was to protect Inazuma, and like she had a job in the cataclysm. Like,
yeah, I always assume that out of the picnic palace, Makoto like died last. I kind of assume that they died in about the order that they were shown to disappear in that trailer.
Oh,
so and Chiyo
I
was
see.
the second, so she might have even been an early casualty of the cataclysm.
So they were already fighting the abyssal monsters before Makoto went.
yeah.
She would have stayed home on the front line. Oh, sorry, I just remembered that in the cutscene of the Mikawa festival, like she's recovering in an Inazuman hospital. So
Wait, really?
Chiyo?
Oh my god, I don't remember that. That's so
yeah,
funny.
because it shows her freaking out in this like
Oh,
in this Inazuman style home. So like she was
sorry. I'm thinking the original Mikawa festival event.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what? That was such a wholesome cutscene. I was like, they were drunk.
She's talking about the first yokai event.
the churls, and I call it the game jam.
Well, it was a Mikawa Flower Festival. We've had two now that
Yeah,
we've
okay.
like actually done. You have the first one where you meet the yokai that was stuck in the paddle.
Right.
Oh,
You have the newer one.
That's the Mikawa festival.
Really? I thought it was called Akitsuki Modamishi.
Yes.
Who the fuck remembers that? Why do I remember that? Oh, right, because we made a video about it. It was a really good video, you guys.
they were shoes.
So that is the actual event happening at the time, but the little yokai kids are trying to recreate the Mikawa Flower Festival at the same
Mhm.
time.
Okay.
And that's when we get to see the flashback to like the one yokai and the human guy and
Oh,
stuff
I
like
see.
that.
Okay.
And then
Yeah. We see baby Yaimi on Saigu's shoulder, I think, too.
So Mikawa Flower Festival #1 was basically like thrown off, and then we get the actual one.
Oh, that's right, because they were like, last year we played ping pong, and ping pong's old and busted, so this year we're making video games.
this year we'll make legit stuff, basically. They're like the little children yokai
Yeah, the
really
yokai
want
kids.
this, so we're gonna help
I
them.
totally forgot that. I totally forgot that was a part of the Mikawa thing.
Mhm.
I
Yeah,
thought there was
same.
only one Mikawa Flower Festival.
Oh my god, we did a whole episode on it.
I know, but I didn't remember that was Mikawa Flower Festival. I thought it was just the paddle episode.
Just the paddle.
Yeah.
Anywho, so Chiyo goes into the abyss to fight and ends up getting swallowed by an abyssal monster, aka they call it a beast of sin.
Mhm.
Now, if we learned anything last week about Ganyu, had she just put on a couple pounds, she could have just choked the dude from the inside out.
Oh my god, poor Ganyu.
She wouldn't have had to cut it out, like cut herself out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If only we had a fat baby like they have in Liyue, and we could cram down our monsters'
Yeah.
throats, then maybe
Mhm.
Chiyo wouldn't have got.
So Chiyo gets swallowed by this abyssal monster.
It has the body of a tiger and the tail of a serpent.
Yeah, so it sounds like almost the Japanese version of a chimera,
Yeah.
which
Yeah.
we talked about. We've talked about chimeras a lot.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Between Barnabas. And last week we talked about it during our Ganyu episode. So it's kind of chimeras are everywhere apparently.
Mythology loves a chimeric critter.
Yes.
And there are a lot of Nue, as they're called.
Just remix those animals and give them god powers.
Yeah. So we don't know though how long Chiyo is in the belly of the beast before she eventually is able to break out, which is great. I'm sure her sons were super excited to see her again.
Well, at first.
Yeah, at first, because then she starts to have terrible, terrible nightmares. And they start to make her paranoid. They make her not good.
She is definitely corrupted by the abyss.
Yes.
That's why the game jam event is so fucked up, because like Mizuki and her clinic is also an overarching theme, and it's like the moral is like, if we had access to Mizuki's radical therapy, A's friend would be alive and sane.
Mhm.
He's like, back then it's like it's ancient Inazuma, they probably literally did electroshock therapy on people.
Yeah, there was probably
Yeah.
a lot of lobotomies.
They're like, oh shit, have you checked her humors? Have you done the leeches? Yeah.
Beef is referring to the newer event that is the Mikawa Flower Festival, when they decide to actually throw one. And during that event, these three Tanukis end up finding, I'm not going to spoil it yet, but an abyssal corroded item that makes them have the same nightmares as Chiyo back in the day. And they start trying to kill us, basically. And they almost killed poor Toma.
Damn.
Toma did not have a good time. But Mizuki, and for travelers who don't know, Mizuki is the owner of the bathhouses. She also is a therapist, so she's our second therapist in Genshin history. And boy, do we need like 20 more of her.
Mhm. Especially in Inazuma.
Yes. And she's
Yeah.
also a yokai. And part of her yokai spirits is that, like Zhao, she can eat your dreams.
It's almond tofu.
All the almond tofu. I cannot wait for the two of them to meet. And that's a big part of her therapy. And we actually have one of those anecdotes that recently came out where we see Layla going to
I
the bathhouse.
love that pairing of characters. I think that
Yes.
is such a fun idea.
Yes. And Traveler in that anecdote has a little line that says, please help her.
Please do your thing.
And that happened like not too long after we recorded our Layla episode.
I know, it was
So
weird.
it made it like really satisfying to like, after doing a deep dive on Layla, to be like, oh, she's getting help.
You love to hear it.
Yeah.
That's just a little context there. So Chiyo does eventually break out of the beast's stomach, and she's like, I'm home, boys. And then starts to have these nightmares. And she ends up trying to attack A. And A is like, nope, we aren't doing this. And she ends up battling with Chiyo. She strikes Mount Yugo and splits it kind of in half as well, because A loves splitting mountains in half.
She does. She loves to split a mountain.
And Chiyo ends up losing an arm and losing a horn in this battle.
But not before she bites A's blade off.
Which, how feral. Like,
I like to think she did it like immediately after losing the arm. She's like, I can't block this with my sword anymore. Just like,
dog, rabbit dog.
She's like banana coconuts now. Like she's gone.
Yeah.
It's really unknown what happened to her, if she ran off and died. Some people think that like Amagu Kenki killed her. All we do know about Chiyo, from my point, but I'm sure you guys might have stuff to add, is that we do know that one of Chiyo's horns ends up buried, and that is what the Baku Tanukis later find. And that's why they have their nightmares.
Yeah. So in that second Mikawa Flower Festival event, Yaimiko actually has a line where she talks about after her arm and horn were severed, she disappeared into the woods. But it kind of sounds like she's reciting a legend. And A later tells us in that same event that she is definitely dead.
I feel like she's dead by then. Okay, this is what, like, I have a little beef with the Genshin wiki. I don't think the outcome of the battle was like as conclusive as like I don't think A like finished her off or
Me either, yeah.
Right. Yeah, there's different places that say that she ran off after the fight, right?
So do you remember where we first hear about Mikoshi Chiyo?
No, definitely not.
All right. So this is where we go back to like, this is kind of my favorite era of Genshin lore. The first time we hear about Mikoshi Chiyo is in the Mask of the Oni Inazuma weapon mats. So they're called like the Mask of the Kijin, the Mask of the Wicked Lieutenant, the Mask of the One Horn Oni. Those are the Oni masks that you get in the weapon domain. And as you go through them from like the shittiest quality 1 to like the highest rarity gold one, they retell the legend of Chiyo the Oni. And it implies that like this is a legend that has been retold and morphed over the years of Inazuma to the point where it's like barely known to this day. Like the first time you hear it, which is like the most recent telling of it, it's like legend talks about Tora Chiyo, the Oni general that like attacked the shogun for no reason and betrayed her and blah 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 blah. And like even the gender of the Oni changes through the retellings.
Yeah.
So like even that was lost to history, which is and Chiyo is like seen as just this like this symbol of complete feminine beauty. And even that got lost in the weeds of time because of how egregious what she did afterwards was. Like her sin is now what's known. Now I'm the villain in your history.
Like, I hate that history is like, oh, someone stood up to the shogun. It must be a man.
Yeah, even though like only had girlfriends except for maybe Sasayuri, and we don't even know.
Right.
It just becomes this legend of the evil lieutenant who was a boogeyman. But then like by the time you get to the higher rarity version of the mask, it tells like the true story. And it's like, no, this is very tragic. Like this was a situation of one of her closest friends that they didn't want to get into. And she was forced to put her down. She was, her friend was out of her mind because basically she fought too bravely and got in too deep. Like while she was in her right mind, she was always loyal. And then like, that history gets twisted through time.
Yeah.
And so that's why Miko is kind of like reciting it as a legend, because Chiyo's a boogeyman at the point of modern Inazuma history. Like she's sad. Something, she's out there in the woods. She might still get you.
Right.
Yeah. Wow. I definitely think she survived for a little bit.
I do too. I have a very specific idea about like her actual last days.
Oh, really?
That I will get into at the very end of this episode.
Okay.
Because it will make you sad.
Oh.
We love to end on a sad note.
Yeah, it's fun.
So at this point, Chiyo is presumed dead, and her sons are both very upset by this, and they both feel like they are carrying a name, but they both treat it differently. You know, her biological son, Michihiro, is like, wow, my mom's name is now slanderous. And he decides that he's going to feel shame because of his mother's betrayal. And he ends up moving out to Konda Village, where he kind of like self-exiles for a bit.
Yeah, becomes a hermit.
He just like lives in a hut as like a nameless samurai, and he's like, oh my god, this is terrible. I can't face Inazuma society like ever again.
I think it's assumed that he went to Konda Village, even though the lore just says he lived in seclusion in a small village outside the city. But since Konda Village is the only one that we get in game, which, you know, we've talked about how this game is like abbreviated.
Yeah, not to scale.
Yeah. But I think it's safe to just kind of assume it's Konda Village. I don't know.
There's other context clues that come up later.
Oh, okay.
And then her other son, and then we can jump in deeper, of course. Her other son, the adopted son, Nagamasa, he's like, I'm going to prove that my mom was great. And he decides to join the shogunate.
Yeah. Even though he was the adopted younger son, so they probably never expected him to be anything close to the heir, unless it was like a really dire thing. He ends up carrying on the family name.
Yeah, because his brother's like, actually, I'm going to change my name too. Not his own idea, of course, but...
Yeah, and then that name gets wiped out by Traveler.
Which is probably a good thing. Those guys were kind of fucked up. Side note, for the first several years of the game, Michihiro was known as Doke. And this is a thing you see with so many Inazuman characters, especially background characters, because, as you may know, Japan and China use the same writing system for their, like, you know... Japan also has a phonetic alphabet, but there are characters that are used that overlap. However, they can be read a bajillion different ways.
Oh.
And so the Chinese writers of this game are all writing these characters' names in Chinese, the Inazuman characters in Chinese, with the understanding that they are going to be pronounced in one of the ways that they are pronounced in Japanese. So Michihiro and Doke are the same name in Chinese, and they are written the same in Chinese and Japanese. However, there are different ways to read the characters. And for characters who are text only, they don't come with a pronunciation guide. And so it could be literal years before the translators kind of figure out, oh, this name was meant to be read a certain way. A completely different way. So it's actually interesting if you listen to the Chinese dub, when they say Inazuman characters' names, they are saying Chinese names, which are the Chinese readings of their characters. So,
Oh, interesting.
That's very interesting.
like, for instance, Ayaka's name in Chinese is spoken as, and I'm going to butcher this, it's, oh my god, okay, it's roughly,
神里灵华
but it's the same characters as Kamisato Ayaka.
That's so crazy, you know? The different sounds that letters can make.
I know. And so playable characters with names that get spoken a lot are going to be like, you know, oh no, in Japanese, you would pronounce this Kamisato Ayaka. But for background characters only, like Michihiro.
It's just not as, it doesn't become evident.
Yeah. So it's the same thing that happened with Hana Chirusato, who for the first several years that I played Genshin was called Kazari, because that's once again, same name, different reading.
Oh, I
Yeah.
see. Okay.
So a lot of Inazuman characters get their names tweaked and changed like over time when people are like, oh, it was meant to be like this.
Oh, interesting.
That's why you will see a lot of older lore sources refer to Chiyo's biological son as Doke.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that and I was like,
You were like, who's Dookie?
He's
Yeah,
Dookie.
I was like, is this the Nahida? Was she referred to here? I didn't know that.
The Doke.
The Doke. So if we go back to Michihiro, the biological son who has annexed himself out to Konda Village, he ends up befriending that female Tengu that we were talking about earlier, the Teruyo.
The daughter of Reizenbo.
Yeah.
And she's like kind of a little brat to him at first.
Yes.
She is very much like a classic Tengu being an annoying little shit.
Do you think so? Because I actually thought that he was the brat and she was like, get over it.
Well, she makes fun of him when she gives him his name. She's like, yeah, it's a good name because it means rock and you're a fucking blockhead, dumbass.
I just feel like she was kind of like, oh, so you want to escape your past? Okay, well then do it. Like reinvent yourself. It's not that hard.
She's kind of giving Rafiki. She's like, stop feeling sorry for yourself.
He's just gonna hold her up.
I don't know what Rafiki is.
From The Lion King?
The guy who holds up Simba and they're like the circle of life.
But then when he meets him as an adult, like Rafiki's like this crazy old guy.
Right.
But then he's also like, all right, no, you got to get your shit together, Simba.
I saw that movie one time many, many years ago. I'm not a Disney guy.
Are you like not a millennial? What the fuck?
No, I'm not.
Brandon and I are the same generation, so
Yeah, that's right. We are.
And I'm 500 years old.
I also just don't like Disney movies.
That's fair. If you want to tell Brandon how wrong he is, write into the mailbox.
yes, let Albedo know. This story of the two of them is also told in Southern Feather. It tells the story of them, and I even thought it almost seemed like a playful teasing, maybe even like an aggressive flirting between the two of them.
There's definitely feelings. But she was like, haha, come on, hit me. Aren't you a samurai? You should be able to hit a Tengu. Hee hee hoo.
Because we only get L's.
We only get L's, but maybe I can punk this like Oni passing part Oni guy. Because she calls him the mortal in whose veins run the blood of the Oni.
Yeah.
She can clock him immediately as like not full Oni, which is interesting because before the cutscene where we actually see what he looks like, and he's a very pretty Oni dude with horns, the only clue we had as to his appearance was the Emblem of Severed Fates artifact card in Genie's Invocation, because the cards are loosely styled after the person who wore those artifacts. So like that's a really cool like secret lore nugget that they put in the card game. And he's like a samurai, and I think he has white hair, kind of like the manga Kenki does, but he doesn't have any visible horns. And so like at that point I was thinking like, oh, he like might be fully human passing. Even we know now that he has horns. They gave him a cooler design, but yeah, she's like, you know, all right, human, like who is part Oni.
I think it's very telling that Teruyo, her mother self-exiled out of shame.
Yeah, they're both like kind of orphans.
For the same reason. Like her mother self-exiled out of shame after not saving Saiguu. She becomes friends with Michihiro, whose mother was Chiyo, who after her betrayal, he self-exiled. So she's literally like talking to this guy that she meets who's self-exiled the same way that her own mother did.
Oh my God. So she's bringing a lot of that into it.
Yeah.
This is why this is my favorite lore in Genshin.
She's telling him to get over it, probably because that's what she wanted to tell her mother.
Yeah.
Get over and stay with me, damn it. I don't want to be an orphan.
She's like, let me give you a new name, Iwakura. And that means the seed of rock, saying that that's the name that the human words cannot harm, which I'm sure she wanted to name her mother. Oh my God.
Oh. So let's back up a bit because the storm cage, the sands, is kind of like the weird anomaly because the rest of the artifacts in the Severed Fate set are kind of told in order, and they mostly concern like Michihiro's own journey, which is funny because as we will learn, Michihiro is not the one of Chiyo's sons that really matters to the overall plot of Genshin.
Yeah, I know.
The shit Nagamasa gets up to is crazy. However, he is not appearing in this artifact set mostly.
They said, we'll save that for another day.
So, like, the first part of the story is told in the flower, which is the tsuba, which is really cool because the tsuba is the handguard of a Japanese sword. And they are very beautiful, like, ornate works of art. And, like, I love that that's the flower in the set. I thought that was really clever. And so that's kind of where Michihiro, it's told by him first person, at least partially, where he talks about his mother's fall from grace and kind of like how he lost his way after that. And then the next one is the Sundered Feather, which is the feather that he cleaved off of Teruyo when he finally got her.
Yeah.
After 13 years of dueling. She's like, you can't even hit me? You think you're hot shit? Damn.
So after she renames him or offers him this new name, Iwakura, she's like, let's meet here every year and duel, and then I'll help you become a sword master. And so they do, and it takes him 13 years to actually touch her with his blade. And then Teruyo tells him, congrats, you did it. Now go out and make a name your new bloodline as Iwakura.
Yeah.
But not with me. I'm not going to be.
Yeah, she's like, no, I'm
with
gone.
you.
Like, I have other things to do. Bye.
Yeah.
That was kind of the gentle, like, letdown. And I do think that it was mutual. Like, it seemed like she had her own shit to take care of. It's unknown who took on the mantle of Great Tengu after Reizenbo left. So, like, I don't know if Teruyo did, if that was, like, hereditary or what. But she's like, well, I guess we have no reason to keep doing this. Bye. And you can go to where they dueled. There is a wrecked little shrine at the foot of Mount Yogo on the Konda village side, which is the context clue of why it's assumed that Michihiro was self-exiled too around Konda, because you can go there. You can see the shrine, and you can find a Kitsune statue that says his final line in the artifact set, which is, these 13 years were like a dream.
Oh.
And he asked, he's like, Teruyo, will we meet again next year when the cherry blossoms fall? He doesn't want to stop fighting.
He was in
likes
love.
Her. He was in love.
Unrequited.
Unrequited, maybe. Maybe it was duty. Maybe it was a lack of mutual feelings. But alas.
Maybe if it didn't take 13 years.
Yeah.
She's
right
like,
person, wrong
she's
time.
like, I can't date a scrub who can't even land a hit on me in 13 years.
Yep.
And who reminds me of my mother. No, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Ooh, yeah. You know what? If Mizuki had been around and been like a counselor, maybe they could have worked through their baggage, but it wasn't meant to be.
Therapy.
And so the feather, like the literal feather in the artifact set, is the very feather that he clipped off her wing when he finally laid that blow on her. And I think that is so cool.
It is. And then after all of this, his sword fighting style becomes very renowned, and he is doing multiple things at once. He's forming the new Iwakura clan. He is also fighting, and people are like his fighting style, and they literally model his sword style into a mechanic beast called the Magu Kenki. And they make multiples. Multiple Magu Kenkis, guys! We're fucked.
There's a lot of Kenkis out there. So the Iwakura clan is kind of like, it's more like a martial arts clan. These aren't like his descendants, it's like his disciples.
It's his sword school.
Yeah, so that's found family win.
Yeah, sort of, until they all die out.
I did not know this until we did research for this episode, but Michihiro is the owner of the original sword that was the basis for the Amenoma Kageuchi, which is the blacksmith craftable Inazuman sword. I don't know if you guys talked about Kageuchi. Kageuchi are like the backup swords based on famous blades, where it's like, this is like, there's the untouched like ceremonial version of the blade that's like, this is the artistry of the smith, and then this is the working sword. This is the sword that actually like gets kind of put into circulation, and that's what a Kageuchi is. And that's a parallel to Makoto and A. A is the Kageuchi too.
Oh, I didn't even think of that. Wow.
Their names Makoto and A mean true and shadow, and can be read as Shin and Kage.
Wow.
Boom!
That's really cool.
Yeah.
I love that.
I like the boom. Can we do one more boom?
Boom!
And that's the way in like IRL that works too with swords and stuff.
Yeah, I think so.
And it makes sense.
They talk about it in Inazuma lore. I'm just gonna believe that.
I mean, it makes sense. Like if you wouldn't want to touch the pretty one, so you make the
because Japanese swords are very much like
they're gorgeous.
They're a work of art.
Yeah.
Some random guy on Reddit says when a client contracts a swordsmith for a sword, they will make multiple and deem the best one Shin Uchi.
Oh,
it's like
okay.
this one, and that's kind of like that's the one you dedicate to the gods. It's like this is the good one, and the rest are like the working copies.
It's kind of what Raiden, what A did to Scaramouche too.
Exactly. he's a Kageuchi of her. It's counterfeit. It's Xerox swords all the way down.
But Xerox aside, he later ends up also becoming the sword instructor for the Kujo clan.
Is that a dub?
Not really, because Sara is adopted by the Kujos.
Yeah.
So it's not a win for her.
That's true. There were no Tengu in the Kujo clan at that point. It was like 400 years ago.
And I mean, that family honestly needs a win, though, at the same time.
Yeah.
After all the shit they pulled in Inazuma. But his legacy, ends up getting destroyed many years later, because during the Vision Hunt decree, the people kind of lost themselves. And I'm assuming that means a lot of them ended up with visions. And they're the Nobushi and Keiragis that we fight now.
So, like, it's been centuries. I don't know if the Iwakura clan was on the decline up to that point. Because, like, you meet the Iwakura samurai and you kill them in a world quest, and they are all kind of, like, barely sane. They are just like these violent, like nutso people that are kind of hanging on to like their last little bits of glory. And it's like, was this like clan super functional and illustrious until the Vision Hunt decree and then everything fell apart? Or was that just like the straw that broke the camel's back?
Right. There's also the question of what happened to Iwakura.
Of Michihiro himself?
Yeah, like, did he die? I mean, he's an Oni, so we can assume he has a longer lifespan.
So there is a very interesting, if you look at the boss mat description for what gets dropped by the Magu Kenki.
What does it say?
Flesh decays, and with it decay all martial arts mastery and all poignant memories. Perhaps only by converting one's forelimbs and body into sturdy mechanical parts, and by, at last, sacrificing one's very own heart for a sophisticated mechanical one, can one transcend the impermanence of the fleshly form.
Are we suggesting that he became a Magu Kenki?
I don't know about the other Magu Kenki copies and how they fit into the lore. I actually tried to look into that and couldn't find anything conclusive. But the Magu Kenki that is a permanent boss in the world, it is said this machine was made using the memories of the first generation master of a certain sword school. However, it malfunctioned, lost control, and was ultimately discarded. I think he was slowly converted into the Magu Kenki.
I kind of hate it.
Who knows, even if he was dead at that point, they might have just dug him out, because people do be using corpses to make puppets. A does that a lot in Inazuma.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, that would make sense, but I fucking hate it, Beefy.
I love it because it's so fucked up.
It is so fucked up.
I think the Genshin wiki says like somebody was inspired by his swordsmithing style and built the various Magukenki. However,
we don't know who that was.
We don't know who or when that was or like how. So there's some like stuff that might be omitted there.
We also know that the traveler, while traveling through Inazuma, ends up killing off all of the remaining Iwakura students, people that still practice that sword technique or that discipline. And so at the end of the day, the only one left that still can do it is the Magukenki.
Exactly. So as far as Emblem of Severed Fates goes, the latter half of Michihiro's life, where he becomes the Iwakura leader of the sword school and then works for the Kujo clan, that is all kind of covered in the Scarlet Vessel and the Ornate Kabuto. I think the Kabuto is the one where like a Kujo soldier is like, wow, Mr. Doin. Doin is like the title he gets at that point. Like, you know, how did you become such a cool and powerful samurai? And how did you learn your signature technique, the Tengu Sweeper?
Oh, that's the Kanjo head that says that.
Oh, right. You're right. Because he's like, damn, I wish we poached you.
Yeah.
And then like Michihiro is just thinking about those days. And he's like, I miss my Tengu crush. Where?
He's like, I was in love once.
Yeah.
And Kanjo's like, we really could use you in the police that I'm helping to form here in Rito.
Here's where I'm going to end Michihiro's story and really fuck you up because
No.
I was so deep into this lore that I was even going on like the Chinese fan forums and trying to translate what they said just to get like a sweet whiff of that Inazuman lore. Just like it was really exciting at the time to like dig into it, see all the connected parts, like see all this history coming together around this family. And like the cool stuff is like all this lore is like not really directly related to the Raiden Shogun. Like she's doing her own thing or not doing her own thing, as in like not taking care of her country. And all this is going on in her absence.
Yeah.
But anyway, I saw a Chinese post that fucked me up so much that it's my headcanon now. And it's how Chiyo met her end.
Mm-hmm.
In the Magukenki description, it says, some sing that the machine's spirit still lingers in the place where its fate was severed. I think the original text says fate was broken, but in another place it says fate was severed. Like it's supposed to be an echo of the severed fates.
Fate.
They also say that the vicious mask that serves as its guard was inspired by a famous Oni from the era. So the mask that the Oni mask that protects the Magukenki, it's a real Oni mask. It's the classic Oni mask you always see. It's called the Hanya. It is a classic masked play character, and it is always a woman. The Hanya is used to tell the story of a noble woman who is corrupted by usually like jealousy or wrath, and she transforms from a beauty into an Oni.
Oh.
This is this vengeful female spirit.
Mm-hmm.
And multiple masks are used to show this woman's moral corruption. And the final one is like her hair is like stringy to the sides of her face. Her eyes are bulging. Her jaw is unhinged to look like a snake. Her ears are gone. Like she's kind of this like reptile monster with Oni horns, with those huge fangs, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that is supposed to be like, this noble woman is so far gone. She is like fully corrupted and given into her dark forces. This is the ultimate like cursed Oni. So like I said, that mask is feminine. The only way it would be inspired by a famous Oni from that era. Well, who's the most infamous female Oni of that era?
Obviously,
His
Chiyo.
mom.
And what does this mask do? It protects him.
Oh.
This Chinese poster who ruined my life paints the picture. She's lost herself. She's feral. She's fumbling through the woods. She discovers her son, the puppet. She instinctively knows. She trained this boy. She's a swordsman. She trained a swordsman. And as they cross blades, she realizes this is what has become of her child.
Oh my god.
He may have even done her in with the Tengu Sweeper, which is like the one technique that he didn't get from her. The one that he came up with himself, his signature move.
Mm-hmm.
This is where their fate was severed. Nothing else in Severed Fates talks about Magukenki. This is where kind of their torment like ends. her spirit is freed. It joins with whatever remnant of her spirit that's good, maybe, because we know her lingering resentment lives on through the horn, joins with her son and becomes the shield that protects his blind spots.
She gives him the mask or shield or whatever, and then he kills her.
No, she becomes like, the idea is that like she kind of assimilates into this robot.
Oh, she becomes a part of the Mago Kenki.
Yeah.
I see.
That is like some vestige of her. That is the mask protecting her son.
Wow.
That fucked me up real bad.
At least they can like live together spiritually.
Meanwhile, we have
way on the other side.
We have Nagamasa, and I know that they really don't go into his lore as much in the artifact set, but I think it's important to mention just because we're here.
Yeah.
So you have Nagamasa, who is the adopted son, who is like, I'm going to bring honor to my mother's name instead of changing his name and all that jazz. So he joins the shogunate. And his whole thing is, if I could do this, I could bring honor back to my family.
Yeah, I got to reform the Mikoshi name.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to the government.
Yeah, and at some point, he takes up bladesmithing and goes out to our favorite place, Tatarasuna.
Yeah.
Okay, here's what's weird. This is really weird. And like, I'm sure you'll get into it more in like a Tatarasuna focused episode because there's so much.
Well, we got into it in the Scaramouche episode.
Oh God, that's true. So he is there in a government capacity.
Yes.
As an inspector. And I was trying to like put together the path to which he becomes a bladesmith. And it's like, he just kind of does it.
Yeah.
He's like not even assigned to be like, I always thought he was like the foreman of this forge, but no, he's looking into it. But he also just kind of opens it and starts working with it again. He like, it's just like, I have an idea. What if
I tinker with this?
Well, I think it's because of one of his bosses was Vice Armory Officer Miyazaki. And Miyazaki, I think, taught him a lot of that.
He's like, okay, this cool cursed forge, I'm going to like, cracks knuckles. Let's see if I can do some of the cool shit that my boss taught me.
Also, he had an assistant assigned to him before he goes out there, whose name is Katsuragi.
And this assistant really fucked up Inazuma.
Yeah. Katsuragi is like, all things lead back to Katsuragi somehow.
He should have kept that damn thing sealed. And you know what? Now that I think about it, we unseal it by blasting it with a cannon.
Yeah.
Like they sealed it back
the
up.
domain that Scaramouche used to be in.
Yes. Katsuragi, doing his due diligence as an inspector's assistant, finds the Shake Pavilion, which is, and I love it when they do like lore stuff about actual domains. This is A's secret workshop where she built Scaramouche.
Mm-hmm.
And he finds Scaramouche in there and he fucking wakes him up.
And he's like, come back to the furnace.
Yeah.
With me and my furnace fellas.
Furnace fellows.
So he ends up coming back and showing Scaramouche to Nagamasa, who then introduces Scaramouche to Niwa and the others.
So is Niwa a smith?
Niwa was an armory officer.
Okay, so all of them there are just like bureaucrats.
Well, yes. And so they accept Scaramouche and they're like, yes, this is going to be our new friend. And they give him a name, Kabuki Mono. And a lot of people just call him Kuni in this era, at least in the fandom.
It doesn't make sense because that means country destroyer.
I mean,
I think it's supposed to mean eccentric.
That's what Kabuki Mono means. It means like a weirdly dressed little guy.
Yeah.
Scaramouche has never had a proper Japanese name, which is kind of interesting. Like they're all like, it's either a dramatic like title, like Kunikuzushi, which means country destroyer. Like A did not name him that.
yeah.
Or like Kabuki Mono, which is like funny little weirdo. I guess Scaramouche is a title too, so he's never had a name until Wanderer, until we name him.
Until we named him.
Now I feel bad for naming him Germa.
I feel very fine about naming him Weasel.
Well, he is.
No, my poor Kyo. Anyway, so what's interesting is, Nagamasa and Katsuragi, they kind of have to come up with a story to introduce Scaramouche to everyone. So they come up with this tale that he's like some guy they found on the beach. Which is like, All right. Guys, we just found him. He was sitting on a beach chair, like sipping a margarita.
Thinking about eating someone's arm.
Yeah, eating arms, gnawing on flesh. And we asked him if he wanted to come join us at Tatarasuna. And they all kind of were like, that's cool. Yeah, nice to meet you. Sorry we took you from your vacation on the beach. And he joins them and he becomes friends with them. And that's when our favorite Fontanian mechanic shows up. Escher.
Very French, very mechanic, super legit.
Super legitimate.
Just like you know who.
And we do eventually find out that Escher is the worst man to ever cross paths with me, El Dodore. We find out that he's there, to cause chaos, basically. And that's when he immediately is like, ooh, is that a puppet? And he takes a lot of interest in it, and he fucks everything up.
And he latches onto the fact that Niwa and Scaramouche are very kind of like enamored with each other. Like they're very close.
Yes, they were like besties.
Yeah.
And so he basically decides, Dodore, that he's gonna fuck everything up and that he wants to release the Tatarigami, which, if you don't remember, the Tatarigami is the evil essence of Urabashi that is left behind in this area because everyone just leaves behind an evil essence.
Yeah, which is very much like a Japanese and even East Asian in general thing. Like even Chiyo leaves behind an evil essence. Like you kill something with a grudge, it's gonna just kind of poison stuff.
Yes. And so as Dodore started to poison everyone, because that's literally that's his dream come true, people who were working at Tatarasuna started to get sick. And Niwa decided that they were not going to tell people what was happening because they wanted to control the situation and not have, gossip and leaks or more people coming to figure it out. So then Niwa and Nagamasa get talking and they're like, Escher is fucking sus. We don't trust the French. Why is he here?
Amen.
Go home. Go back to your baguette. Go back to your fancy dressed poodles. We don't need you here. But they can't do anything about it.
So Dottore kills Niwa, but makes it look like Niwa betrayed everyone else and disappeared. So Skara is very offended. Again, go listen to our Scaramouche episode, season 1, episode 19. But Niwa's disappearance was seen as a very big failure and a very big deal because they were, in charge of the Tatarasuna furnace, which was like the sword making machine.
There's one part that I'm trying to, because somebody at some point while this goes down, somebody goes to Tenshukaku for aid.
It's Scaramouche.
Is it? I thought it was Niwa, but
no. So what happens is that, because Niwa and Nagamasa are like, we think Escher and the French are sus, Nagamasa decides that they're going to take kind of this like slow roll approach as to not scare Escher and not make him know that they're onto him.
All right. So he sends out, he's like, no one's going to think about the weird little kid guy getting lost. So why don't you actually go on and tell the big boss that some shit's going down?
And so Skara goes to try to get help from A, which, like, why you'd go to your mother that abandoned you, I don't know.
Well, also because she's the president god queen.
And he was desperately, like, trying to seek validation from her.
Well, also, it's just like, you got to take it to the top. And what does she do?
She's already in the titty sword.
She is reading the IKEA instructions for her robot. And she does literally fucking nothing.
Yes.
She doesn't even look into it. He's like, Chernobyl is exploding with god ghosts and there's a sus Frenchman. This island is going to melt and explode. And you need to do something because we're all scared. And she's like, which way does the battery go in? I don't know. Anyway, time for more self-care. Go girl, give us nothing.
So he ends up talking with Yaimiko instead. And Yaimiko says that she will send help.
Well, first she says, ew, get away from me.
Yeah, she's like, oh my God, my illegitimate son.
Like, I really try to convince A to destroy you, but I guess you're here now.
It's my wife's depression project. Hi.
And so Yaimiko kind of gives him like an idea that she's gonna do something, but he doesn't believe it, and he thinks that they are now on their own.
Which they super are.
Yep. And that's when he gets back to Tatarasuna and he finds out that Niwa is missing. And so as Brandon was saying, Escher tells them that Niwa flat left them and that they need now Scaramouche, who is a puppet, to do this thing where he's like gonna go in and try to get something, and it ends up being like Niwa's heart.
He's going into the furnace and using like a cleansing device.
But it's really just Niwa's heart.
Yeah, Niwa's heart is in the device. That he gets back out, and then Escher, aka Dottore, is like, "Oh, look inside that device. Oh, look, it's a shriveled heart. Guess whose that is? It's Niwa's subordinate."
He didn't have to do that to him. He's so fucked up.
Niwa killed someone and then left. Meanwhile, it's Niwa's heart, but Skara completely falls for it.
Why the fuck he lying? He's just a baby, so he falls for it. He doesn't know.
He really is like emotionally a baby.
He's like 2 months old.
So anyway, Niwa, was gone. This was like a big failure. Katsuragi, who is Nagamasa's assistant, if you will recall, Mikoshi Nagamasa, the adopted son of Chiyo, has an assistant named Katsuragi. Now, after Niwa's disappearance, because of bureaucracy, Nagamasa is basically going to take all the blame of this disaster that's befell the furnace.
In the shogunate, blame means death, which is so fucking rich because A did nothing to help them. And then she's like, oh, you fucked up. Your head needs to roll.
Do you think it was the puppet by this time? The Raiden Shogun puppet? I'm hoping.
A said, like, everything this puppet does is my tacit approval. So she Ben knew. And she was just like, yeah, whatever. I don't care. I'm bummed. I'm just going to sit here and be bummed. And Puppet's like, kill the dude who we didn't help.
Anyway, Katsuragi, the assistant to Nagamasa, decides to take the fall for Nagamasa. That's a little more than being an assistant.
That's dope. That's fierce.
Tragically, it results in Nagamasa having to kill Katsuragi, his assistant, with, the very special sword, which we're kind of skipping past, but you can hear about that in our Scaramouche episode.
Yeah.
But there was a very special sword that the Furnace fellas created. So Nagamasa has to kill his assistant, Katsuragi, his very loyal assistant, who took the fall for him, and then he has to kill him.
And his sword becomes known as the Katsuragi Kiri Nagamasa, which means Nagamasa the Katsuragi Cutter. And this is a name that the sword and Nagamasa himself carry for the rest of his life.
Yeah. And in a weird way, it's also to honor Katsuragi. Like, it's so weird.
It wouldn't be a derogatory title. It's like, this is the guy who vanquished the guy who fucked up Chernobyl,
Uh-huh.
Even though it's actually like fucking horrible.
Yeah.
And of course, after that, Nagamasa lives and he goes on to live his life. And there's not really too much to know about him after that. It's assumed that he is old. And it's also known that he ends up like writing a book about blades, and he ends up forming one of the 5 bladesmithing tactics for the Raiden Gokuden, which we know connects back to Kazua's family.
Mm-hmm. It's all connected, people.
Yes. And because this always comes up, there's a question of like, does Nagamasa's part in Tatarasuna change when Scaramouche changes Irminsul? And it does, because Nagamasa did meet Scaramouche. So when Scaramouche goes into Irminsul and Control-Alt-Deletes himself, they obviously can't change what happened, but they have to change what people perceive happened. So the idea is that there was a different mechanic that wasn't from the area, and that kind of seemed to be a character mixed of Scaramouche and Escher, which is Dottore. So in this alt reality, Nagamasa never met Scaramouche, and he never knew about this puppet, and neither did his assistant who died for him.
Yeah, and in that version of reality, Niwa ends up dying by going into the furnace instead of Scaramouche.
Yes. Which is sad because now no one knows that Niwa was murdered.
Murdered.
Yeah.
Except Wanderer.
Niwa was dying no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, that technically the Traveler knows as well. And maybe Nahida.
She didn't write that part into her fable, though.
Yeah, but we do. She goes with us into the, like...
That's true. Like, we could tell her anything, and she'd be like, okay, cool, I'm up to speed.
Yeah, but she also went... Wasn't she with us when we, like, went on Scaramuche's journey? Like, she was in our brains?
Oh, maybe. It's been so long. That quest is really good, though.
Yeah, it is. It was a great story.
Yeah, I'm sorry I don't remember too much of it.
No, but yeah, that's the Emblem of Severed Fate artifact set and the Blanket Friend's life.
The story of Chiyo and her 2 sons.
So this is like, I think just peak lore telling was just this and kind of this era of Genshin. The Blanket Buddies trailer changed and ruined my life because it was so fucking good, because that was the first time players were really rewarded for like delving into the lore. Yeah. Because when you get into Inazuma, you read about Chiyo in the Mask of the Oni. You find out about Kitsune Saiguu through the Sacred Sakura quest, and also Shimenawa's Reminiscence, which we forgot to say is narrated by Asase Hibiki. She's all over the place. we hear about Sasayuri from some other lore thing, but then Raiden's trailer comes out and you see all of them. And it's like all of these faceless text people who were deeply entwined in Inazuma's history. Like, you will know who all of these people are and nobody else watching will. And that was so dope. Yeah. And also so horrible because it set my expectations so high for how they were going to incorporate lore. I don't think they ever did it that successfully. I'm very biased, but it was so cool.
It's definitely very detailed and very connected. And Beefy, knowing you for as long as I've known you now, when the second Mikawa Flower Festival event came out, there's that cutscene where it shows you events happening from the perspective of Chiyo as she's corrupted. I thought of you.
Thank you.
Like, this is so nerdy. This is so like Chiyo and like Blanket Friends. I'm like, I'm sure Beefy's freaking the fuck out.
If you don't know from the Shade Chamber and from me, Chiyo is my favorite like dead guy in Genshin. Absolutely. Like, I'm definitely a Chiyo freak and a Chiyo truther.
Yeah.
That being said, even though I was really excited to see her highlighted in the Mikawa Festival, it actually really didn't give us, like, for the Chiyo heads who go deep into the lore, nothing new actually came out of the Mikawa Festival.
Well, I like that it showed her 2 sons side by side.
That was the most exciting thing, was seeing her 2 beautiful sons. This set, like, literally covers, like, all of the people of Inazuma except for, like, the Watatsumi people.
Yeah.
Like, it even starts spilling into Akodomaki and his shit, which all happens, like, almost 100 years after the events of Emblem of Severed Fates. Like, it just keeps going.
But it even touches a little bit with Watatsumi, because you have Sasayuri.
Yeah.
And his, like, kind of fall and demise, which is looped in with Urabashi. So
that's not really in the artifact stuff, though. That
I know, but the second you start looking into, like, Chiyo, you know, you're like, here's Saiguu, here's Sasayuri, here's the Yougou Three.
I can't talk about one Blanket Friend and not the others.
Yeah, it's biased.
They're Blanket Friends.
They're all in the picture. And so, like, half of Inazuma's history radiates off of the 3 Mikoshis. And I'm just dying to learn more about him. I had a sad realization when doing research for this episode. Eventually, Michihiro and Nagamasa both go back to work for the government, but it is never talked about if they ever, like, spoke again.
Yeah, because they got along as kids, so it's like, what happened?
They were just put on different paths and were never interacted as adults in the wake of their mother's disappearance. And I just think that's so sad.
I really hope that if they ever do actually release some kind of anime, that it's set around the time of the Cataclysm. Because at first I was like, maybe the Archon War, but I feel like they've done so much character work on all these different characters within the nations around the Cataclysm time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're also interconnected. It would make a really good series.
Yeah, I would love to see that, like multiple POVs, like going around, that kind of thing. Cause like, I know it's a meme, but like Genshin is a post-apocalyptic setting. Like these nations have just kind of been through the ringer and will probably never get back to where they were before the Cataclysm. Shout out to Al.
Well, what I like the headcanon is that Nagamasa, when he became like an inspector, I like to think that he went to his brother and was like, listen, like, I know you don't like mom, I know you don't like any of this stuff anymore, but like there's always room for you in the government. And then that's when he was like, you know what, I'm gonna go work for the Kujos.
Can someone please write like Mikoshi brother genfic where they talk about this kind of stuff? I need it more than I need air, please.
Here's my last question for you guys before we move on to Kirara's mail, because she left it on the table after she heard me shit talking her earlier. One word, which brother do you prefer? I don't want an explanation, but which brother is your favorite brother? Michihiro or Nagamasa?
I like tragic pretty boys, so Michihiro. I know that's more than one word, but my word is Michihiro.
It's okay.
Even though he's definitely not the most interesting as far as like long-reaching lore. I will admit that. I was very taken by like the story of him, his mother, his arc, and the fact that it all just goes to shit in the end with the Iwakura clan like becoming these like derelicts that you have to kill. It's like, oh man, Inazuma sucks.
Yeah, I mean, I would say Michihiro. I can't get over Nagamasa allowing Katsuragi to take the fall for him.
Yeah, that was pretty fucking stubborn of him. Be like, no, I can't let the Mikoshi name get fucked over again.
Yeah.
But you know what? Katsuragi's sacrifice paid off because there is one living Mikoshi in modern day Inazuma. And it's the dude who runs the shop.
Yeah. Not a blood relative, but has the name.
Might be descended from Nagamasa either by blood or adoption, but Nagamasa, because of Katsuragi, got to keep his family name in good graces enough where his descendant runs a shitty gift shop.
Yay.
Yay.
I was just going to say Michihiro is my out of the two. I don't know. There's something about his unrequited love, his 13 years of trying to fight and just trying to like, be somebody else. I don't know. I like it.
Yeah.
And when we see him, he's so beautiful. He looks like Timothée Chalamet.
I'm dead. I do want to say one other quick
Well, wait,
thing.
did you say who?
What's yours?
yeah.
Oh, I'm a Nagamasa. Sorry, I like Nagamasa.
That's the intellectual
Like
choice.
a rule follower.
No, he's the pithy one.
I like the idea that he was probably an orphan and that he kind of got this pity from Chiyo, whether it was political or not. He was raised alongside a brother he loved. He finally had a family. His mom dies, he assumes.
Oh, well, that's why you like him.
And him and his brother part ways, and I think it's very tragic. Now, I do want to bring one thing to your guys' attention. I know I said we were going to jump into mail, but I do want to bring one other thing into your attention before I forget, which is that there is actually one other thing called Mikoshi. And that is our best bud, the Denichi Mikoshi, down in Inkanomiya.
I flipped out when I saw that was the name of the thing.
Why is it that name?
I don't think so. I think it's like just like a synonym or something. I tried looking into it. I can't trace anything to do with the Mikoshi clan to Watatsumi at all. It means like chariot. And so I think it's just because it's the sun chariot.
Yeah.
But I will say that in Genshin, everything has meaning. And we talked about this in our Ochkanatlan episode when we were talking about the fact that there were two Monkus and how we knew the second we met that second Monku that he had to have some relation to ancient Monku.
Yeah.
And there was no way they'd repeat a name like Monku. And that even goes back to our episode recently that we did about Jet, where we were talking about the three Cyruses and how one day something's going to come out about that. You have Mondstadt Cyrus, Sumeru Cyrus, and Sumpter Beast Cyrus.
The best Cyrus.
The
At
best
least
one,
Sumpter
yeah.
Beast Cyrus is named after Sumeru Cyrus. We know that much. Or I'm sorry, he's named after Mondstadt Cyrus.
Wait,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
Because they're the two guys who run that business that like rent out the Sumpter Beasts. They're from Mondstadt.
Oh, I bet Sino gets a fucking kick out of that. I bet he thinks that is the funniest thing ever.
Yeah, because it's like they're named after the Mondstadt one, but like in Sumeru they probably have no idea who the fuck that guy is. So Sino's probably like, father.
He goes home. He's like, "Ha, Dad, I met you in the desert. You pooped on the road."
It's the whole reason he went to Mondstadt in the manga. He was like, well, I guess I should go and meet
The other Cyrus.
He would absolutely go for the meme. It's fucking Sino.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Anyway, that being said, we do have mail from Kirara. She did left after I made a comment about yokai not living up to the potential like the Adepti are. So she left it here. Albedo checked, there is no anthrax. So our first message is going to come from Kimiko, and they said, pick your favorite Genshin character. What team do you think they would build in Genshin based off of their personality?
Now I have a question.
Okay,
And I know Kimiko can't answer it. So
I'll answer. I am now talking on behalf of Kimiko.
does that character then also be a part of the team, or they are making their team? So like, is it 3 or 4?
I kind of assumed that I am Ash Ketchum and that I am throwing out my 4 Pokemon on my team.
Okay.
That was my assumption, but if you decide to put your character, I mean, some characters might be full of themselves and be like, I'm the best, I'm going to put myself on the team, right? So if you put that, I think that's okay. But I'm imagining I'm Ash Ketchum and I'm like, Pikachu, I choose you.
Mhm.
I'll go first since I started talking then. I used Rosaria, my OG fave, and I think that her team would be Arlecchino, Yaimiko, Mavika, and Shenha, because she just needs a team of badass lesbians.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sussy ones too. Like they're all a little bit sussy.
hmm
Her people. She's like, I don't know any other vampires. So
Yeah, I
like,
know
go
there's no other
peaceful.
vampires. I haven't made any children yet because fiends won't let me.
I finally feel comfortable when I'm surrounded by other sussy lesbians.
Yeah. Mhm.
For mine, I picked, obviously, Albedo's my favorite character, and the team that I gave him was Jean, Kaya, Shingsho, and Sino. And I kind of assumed that these would be people that he would trust. Of course, he'd want to bring the acting grandmaster out with him. I do believe that he knows Kaya is a hard-ass worker and would protect him.
Mhm.
He's good buds with Shingsho after doing all the art for his books and knows that he's a pretty chivalrous guy and that he's going to get shit done. And then he knows that he's besties with Dad Joke General and Mahamatra Sino.
Yeah,
And I think that they just be great synergy between the 4 of them too with the different elemental reactions. So I think they're people he trusts and they're people who'd get the job done.
That makes sense.
So for mine, I chose Nouvelette, and I think Nouvelette would choose Farina,
Mm-hmm.
and then Venti, Zhongli, and A, so he could try to kill them.
I was going to say, so he could watch them all die. He would. He'd be like, oh, my job just got so much easier and I can have fun doing it.
He's like, this is my opportunity.
Oh, I love it.
That's good. That's really good.
And what about you, Beefy?
Well, I appreciate you brought up the conundrum of do they participate or are they picking their characters? Because in the case of A, she gets to pick herself. She picks the Raiden puppet.
Oh shit, that's amazing.
And like the one thing she's good at, and yes, A is my favorite character, even though whenever I talk about her, I just tell you how fucking terrible she is.
It's the dimension.
She has a lot going on. Her one thing that she's really good at is she cares about results in battle and she will get them. So like, obviously she would not have made the Shogun unless she thought it was the best course of action on the battlefield. Like, and that's just her being like, well, it's common sense. Of course it would be the Shogun. So I built her. And so then she would have like a really bog standard, like Shogun meta team. So like Sarah, which again, like, she's like, for some reason, She puts a lot of trust in Sarah to get shit done, but she's like, yeah, I would pick Sarah because I pick Sarah. She's my general.
Sarah can finally have sex with the Raiden Shogun. It's just not going to be me.
It's not going to be me. Let the puppet do it.
Yeah.
And then like some meta supports, I just said like Frina, and then like Bennett or Kazuha, or like even Kokomi. Like I think she would squash the beef if she was like, this is for the sake of like winning.
As long as we win, I don't give a fuck.
Yeah, she's like, you can get back to your little like squabble afterwards. I just need you to get in there and keep my team healthy.
Yeah, I like that. Like the logical side of her. Yeah.
Well, Kimiko, thank you for the question.
Thank you.
Our next question comes from Alice, and they said, of all the characters that are likely to get released, examples are Harbingers, the Hexen Circle, Dainsleif, and Varka, who are you the least looking forward to?
Ferns.
Oh, I know. The document keeps auto-correcting to Fern. And it's like, I don't know which way I want to go. Like, do I want to be Fern in Critical Role, or do I want to be between two Ferns? I haven't decided yet.
Either way, you're Dendro.
And either way, I'm Dendro. I'm coming home to Nyari. But I picked Dottore. I do not want him anywhere near my fucking team. Playable, not playable. I don't want his corpse near my team.
You're going to see people missing.
Yeah, exactly. I'm going to like log in one day and it's going to be like you know how they have the Kave hacker back?
Oh, no.
I'm going to have Dottore and I'm going to log on and I'm going to have one character. And I'll be like, where did all my characters go?
The haunted Genshin cartridge.
Aside from Xavier, what if one of the playable characters is actually Dottore?
That would be amazing. I would
Can you
shit
imagine?
myself. I would be so impressed.
When you hover over them, it sort of like flashes to Dottore after you find out.
I hate it. Brandon, stop. No. Who gave Brandon a microphone tonight? Take it away.
Charles, there's too many mics and Angels share.
Yeah, Charles, take his away. Give him more wine.
I know you love it, even though you hate it.
I hate it. Dottore is my least looking forward to.
It would suck, like, if they try to rationalize him as being playable, even if they're like, no, there was one segment left, and he was the one good one. Like, no.
That's Xavier.
Oh, God.
Brandon thinks
the
that
film guy?
Yeah,
yes, I think
like
that's
that.
Dottore.
That's fun.
No, it's terrible, Beefy. It's terrible.
I love terrible things.
No. Well, then who are you least looking forward to?
I hate Dainsleif. I hate him. I think he's the most boring fuck in the world. And I'm not looking forward to the day that like the lore becomes more centric to him, because I know it's coming.
Yeah.
And
why do you think he's boring?
Because he just like this is not gonna like play well on a lore podcast.
Okay.
I don't think they've done enough to make me care about the kind of plot that he is there to reveal.
That's
and
fair.
also he's not even good at revealing the plot that he's there to reveal. He's wasted so much of our time, especially like the last like 2 or 3 years of like, you know, okay, here's my big appearance where I'm supposed to drop something big on you about the greater story that we know this is leading into with Conria, with the knights or whatever that I'm in. And it's like, here's a little story about some fucking NPCs that don't mean shit.
Yeah.
And he's also like, oh, and I'm just so tormented and immortal, a blue hoo-hoo.
Yeah, I really hope that they explain that. I'm assuming that he's going to be villainous, and the reason he doesn't tell us stuff is because he's hiding stuff.
I wish.
I hope so.
That's a generous read and faith that Hoyo's going to tell the story good. I want to believe.
What about you, B and Tiff? What are your guys' thoughts?
Varka.
Now, why?
Oh, why? Because he's such a bum.
In our Gene episode, we talked about how Varka's a sexist, which upset people.
I was going to say, that
online.
really didn't go over well on Twitter.
No, it didn't.
Yeah, I don't know if he's a sexist, but he sure has a lot of contempt for pretty much anybody.
He just, like, the way he talks about Gene is, like, upsetting.
He's such an asshole.
Yeah, like, he's like, well, I'm going off to, like, get glory. You can stay here and take care of the house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you can do literally everyone's taxes because everyone in Mondstadt is too stupid to like run their country, and he doesn't care that she's like pathologically bad at delegating and will like have a heart attack at the age of like 24.
Yeah, she does everything herself. Exactly.
And he's had her doing shit even when he was there.
Beta would never. Like, that is not what a good boss does.
Right. Ningguang would never.
Ningguang would. To Baisha, she would be like, yeah, okay, you can like work yourself into a coma this week. I don't care. But like,
Gotten you. Hashtag gotten you.
like, yeah, exactly. Beta like sets her people up for success. I would love to see Beta like beat the shit out of Varka.
Ooh, that would
She
be
is
fun,
she is
yeah.
the best boss in Genshin canonically. She has a therapist on call. Like,
Yeah.
I also said Varka, but my reason, well, I also just still, like we said in that Gene episode, I still think he's an asshole. I'm almost more upset that with the recent pictures and cutscenes and whatnot that we've seen of Nodcry, that he is not a little tiny man with a pot belly that I have just made him in my head, of this like
I love
disgusting
that.
old guy who's just kind of just a dick. I'm mad that he's not going to be that.
I pictured him as like a giant meathead.
he's not big and strapping either.
He looks young though, and like actually, well, not younger than in my mind, but he does look like fit. He does seem like a very fit dude.
Well, guys, he's adventuring.
So he's a huge dick, and they're not even gonna make him hot to like make up for it.
I'm sorry, they're making him look like adventuring, Beefy.
Did I stutter?
Yeah.
Listen, I just need my men to look like Enjo or Jebrail.
Oh my god, and we need
Yeah.
all the Genjos everywhere. But thank you so much, Alice, for the question.
Thank you.
Obviously, we're
Thanks,
only
Alice.
not looking forward to men.
And thank you, Kimiko.
That's because I'm here. I bring my shame for hating male Genshin.
Oh, no.
I don't hate the male Genshin
I've
characters.
always hated men, so it's fine.
No comment. That being said, that is all the time that we do have for today. Charles is giving us quite the look right now. I think it's because I've mentioned anthrax one too many times in the bar.
Yeah. Mhm.
He's picked up the Lysol. He's like,
No, I think he's sent for Kaya. So we got to get done.
is he vaccinated?
Against anthrax?
Yeah.
Can you be vaccinated against anthrax? I know there's a pill you can take.
You can be vaccinated against like anything, right?
No.
No.
Then they should get on it. What the fuck?
Anything.
Wow, there is an anthrax vaccine. There's two.
Wait, is anthrax a virus or a bacteria?
It's a powder.
Yeah, it's a biological. Like
It's a drug.
It's a drug. Yeah.
Wow. So it's actually, so the vaccines are mostly given out to people who, because anthrax can be found in dead animals. But actually that's where it came from. I think it was like a frozen dead deer, right? That's like the first recorded anthrax.
That must be why I have natural immunity, because I eat so much roadkill.
Oh my god.
When you're a hilly churl, you can't be picky
Uh-huh.
or cook. I guess we have little stew pots.
But you can dance around a fire.
I can fucking cut some shapes, I tell you.
But yeah, I think anthrax is like, it's something that's like in dirt. And it's like a disease that can grow in dirt. And mostly it impacts animals because of that. But it does say that there are two vaccines, but they really only give it to people who are like highly likely to be in contact with something like that. So like people who pick up roadkill,
Yeah.
some types of emergency responders and stuff like that. But there is like, I forget which medication that they say you can take if within a
Cipro.
certain amount of time. It's Cipro.
hmm
I'm learning so much.
You listeners are so lucky that you get to learn so much about so many different things. That's why this podcast is great.
Ciprofloxacin. I have a big fear of anthrax. So.
Well, yeah, because like we grew up with that anthrax scare.
Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
For those of you who are Gen Z, the anthrax scare of the early aughts was like the killer clown scare from the late 2010s.
And I survived both of them.
Mhm.
So if I can survive anthrax and I can survive killer clowns and I can survive Dodoray, I can survive anything, guys.
That's right.
But if you like this episode, please feel free to email Albedo at talesoftevatpod@gmail.com to let him know what you think. Send in any questions you have for us that you'd like to have answered on a Kirara mail special, or tell us what topics you'd like to see in the future. Travelers can follow Tales of Teyvat on Instagram, Tales of Teyvat Pod, or on Twitter, Tales of Teyvat. We're also on Blue Sky and Threads under the same names. You can also feel free to check us out on Ko-fi, where you can buy us a cup of coffee, caffeinate us, and make sure that we're able to afford things like our web hosting, which is super helpful in episodes like today, where there's a lot of visual lore that can help you. So definitely make sure to check out the website this week. It definitely can be a good visual for you to see. Beefy, let us know where travelers can find you and the rest of the Shade Chamber outside of the Shades of Teyvat Discord server.
We have built a mighty legacy and an illustrious backlog of episodes of the Shade Chamber, a Genshin podcast, which is both a listening podcast that you can find on Spotify and various other podcast carriers, or on YouTube, in which you can watch the full style, to flatter myself. I would love to be on the level of the editors of but it is a visual format with visual accompaniments on the YouTubes. Some highlights include Sumeru's cultural history, presented with Amir from Twitter, who did all those really cool factual Sumeru threads about Iranian culture. We've collaborated with Chill with Astra to talk about the gambling mechanics and psychology that are used by gacha games like Genshin. We've dove into the Buddhist history and significance of Scaramouche, some comparative mythology with Orobashi, and how they syncretize Greek and Japanese mythology, but also just kind of like how the game changes over time, quality of life, and unspoken things. And as several people with entertainment industry and game design experience, we kind of go behind the scenes as much as we can to give you an informed, like, why did they make this decision? A question that we are less and less equipped to answer because Hoyo, as of late, made some very strange decisions. However, we have a lot of fun talking about this game, being a horny little bastards and making lots of jokes. We are also active on the Twitter at Shade Chamber Pod. You can email us at shadechamberpodcast@gmail.com. And I think we're on Blue Sky. I just don't remember what we're called. It might be the Shade Chamber, which would be amazing for us because there is a goth lifestyle blog called the Shade Chamber, and they have poached all of our URLs years before we tried to take them, but they're also super inactive. And I have emailed them to be like, hey, you're not really using this Twitter handle. Is it okay if we... No response. No response.
Yeah.
But if you want something more immediate, the best way to reach the churls of the Shade Chamber is the Discord server, where you can also watch us stream games and talk about shit, and where you should also post Yuri for me to enjoy.
That being said, too, you can check out the Discord server if you are 18 and over by going to bit.ly/Shades of Teyvat. There's no spaces, no capital letters. And remember, as we stated at the start of this episode, that Aventurine and Kaveh do check your IDs at the door. And while they can take bribes, they'll have you arrested and kicked out within 5 minutes. So keep that all in mind.
And Aventurine will soon be replaced by Varka.
Whoa. Anyway, we're not going to talk about that bullshit.
Maybe he's mean because he suffered twink death.
No, he's still a twink. In the video, he's still a twink. Man. But that being said, too, travelers, you will also be able to find all the links to the Shade Chambers, handles, and everything in the description of this episode and on our website, in case you're a little more visual like I am and need to like see the words and click on them. So they'll also be there as well.
And you can comment directly on the Spotify episode itself, so you can tell us which dead Genshin character you are hyperfixated on.
Yes, please let us know. And you can feel free to let us know in the server via email as well. That being said, next week we are going to Sumeru to talk about the itty baby archon, Nahida.
Snahiba!
With all of her Dukes.
All the Dukes.
We'll be taking a Duke right to the dome, educating you on Nahida. God.
Just a dome of Duke.
Yeah.
That's her burst. With that horrible mental image.
Until then, safe journeys, travelers. We will see you next time.
Bye, Tengu nerds. Which Tengu?
Are we all seeing L's now?
All L's.
Well,
no W's.